And good morning. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. He's Griffin. Joe Serpico will be here at some point. Apparently, we sent him to Timbuktu. Hey, man. We'll get there eventually.
Exactly.
We'll get there eventually.
Exactly.
Poor Joe.
I know.
Poor Joe. I feel genuinely bad about that, but it's not. You know whose fault it's not?
Well,
nope. I'll put it on me when it's on me.
well, I mean, you could have reminded me that I should have double checked, which I
no.
should have done on my own.
Yeah. No,
Which I would definitely.
When it's my fault, I'll say my
say
fault.
it's like
this one's on me. I'll say that
60-40.
sometimes. No, it's not like 60-40.
75-25.
You want to say it's like 99.6 to 0.4? I'll let you have that. Let you have that. All right, coming up on the program today, our buddy Joe Serpico will join us in studio. We also have a fantasy draft that's starting in 4 minutes. Might end up getting in a car accident. Although, does this draft even matter?
I think so.
I tried last year to make us pay, and then nobody paid me when I won.
Oh. I guess I didn't pay KZ. All right. I guess.
Yeah, you probably owe me money. Put it towards. I tell you what, the money you owe me covers my picks buy-in for this year. Got it?
Well, hold on. If no one else paid you.
No. A lot of people did pay me. A lot of people did.
A lot. All right. Well,
I think there were
define
other.
a lot.
I think like 8 out of 12 paid me.
Did I really not pay anyone?
Yeah, I don't know that you were on that list.
I'll have to check my.
You double check. If you did, then you're off the hook, and I'll pay for picks. But if not, then you're paying my picks freight. And we should talk about doing it again this year, but I forgot to do that, and so.
Well, we can right now. 2 minutes before the draft.
2 minutes before the draft starts. I'm sure we'll do that. We'll get some analysis from Joe Serpico. We'll continue to get ready for Ravens-Chiefs a little bit later on. Devin McCourty is going to join us from NBC, of course, 3-time Super Bowl champ. And also my buddy Soren Petro from WHB down in Kansas City will check in with us as well. And before we get out of here today, our friend Kevin Brown, Orioles play-by-play voice, will join us. And all of that coming up. Plus, Would You Rather Wednesday, which will get somebody a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill. You can't use that to pay your dues for this league.
It's not a bad idea.
But it'd be better than what Griffin paid me for the fact that I won the league last year. So I guess in hindsight, maybe
Hold on. Are we doing a super flex this year?
I don't even know what that means.
That's like when you can play like 2 quarterbacks, essentially.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Nobody told me that.
I know. No one told. Well, I'm looking at. I just opened up the draft room, and it's sorted like there's a super flex slot. Do we need to call KZ?
Maybe. Or we need to have Joe Serpico here to explain it to us. There's a super flex?
Well, so like when you're like unless that's just like the default way of drafting. Hold on.
I would like that answer. I have the 12th pick in this draft.
I have the first.
It would
I need to know.
It would definitely explain why Josh Allen is the
Right.
number 1 ranked player on the board, and Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts are in the top 4. I feel like this is something that probably should have been shared before this moment. Son of a bitch.
Now I kind of do want to take Josh Allen first.
Yeah, I get it. Do you have the first pick?
Yeah, I have
the
the
you
first
do have
pick.
the first pick.
I was like, all right, cruise. I make my pick and then I can take a nap. Honestly.
Yeah, is that what your plan was?
Yeah.
It seems like that what you were doing when you were telling Joe Serpico how to get here today.
But now I'm like, I mean, what do I do here?
Yeah, well, that's the question, Griffin, and I don't have any. I can offer you nothing in this conversation. I can't do it. Here's what I can offer today: is I can offer man of the match.
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring local food, shopping, and fun for all. Come for the event and stay for the experience in Cecil County, home to the Chesapeake Bay waterfront, vibrant small towns, and family entertainment. Tickets on sale now at maryland5star.us.
So should I call KZ?
Well, if you're on the board, like,
I mean,
if you want to get the answer,
I do.
So are we? I don't even know what a super flex. I don't like it.
Neither do I.
Let me tell you, we can't get people to pay to be in the league, but yet we're doing a super flex. I mean, what even is this? I mean, what are we doing here?
And now you didn't answer.
Of course not.
Was he driving? Is that what he said?
Of course not. God damn, man. Oh, and the draft just started.
Yep.
Oh,
All right,
baby.
I got a minute here to decide.
A lot of pressure
what I
on
do.
you, not knowing what this league is, and the draft just got underway. Hey, Cade Povich is man of the match. That seems like it should be obvious, Cade Povich. Yes, I get it. The White Sox are awful. We all know that. We all have brains. We all can see what's in front of us. The White Sox are truly terrible.
I'm putting up the Glenn.
But Cade Povich did get the job done last night. Cade Povich goes 7 1/3. 5 hits, no walks, 10 strikeouts. Slim Povich, the piano man of the match for the second time this season. All right, KZ, you got 10 seconds to explain to Griffin what the Superflex.
I got 20 seconds.
We're doing Superflex.
Who do I pick? Who do I pick? Do I pick McCaffrey or Josh Allen?
I'm not going to tell you that.
No,
I don't know what to
shut
do.
the
I've
F
never-
up,
I've
Ken.
never-
What is it?
It's
So
a
you could-
super flex. You can start 2 quarterbacks.
Okay, so that makes quarterbacks more valuable.
So should I take?
Yes.
Thank
Josh
you.
Allen?
Why can't you just tell us this in a text, a-hole?
I'm taking Josh Allen.
We had the same rules last year.
No, we didn't.
Not.
No, we did not. No, we didn't.
You won the freaking league.
I know, and no one paid me.
Oh, my God. I did pay you, forgot.
Well, you
First
did,
of all,
yes.
I did pay.
I don't think Griffin
I
did.
paid you.
Yes, you
Don't
paid
tell
me.
me nobody
But
paid
other
you.
people didn't, and you didn't.
I sent you all the money that I collected.
Yeah, that's the
and I
point.
also
You
told
didn't.
that this
You
year-
didn't prioritize getting everybody else to pay me.
No, I told you, John Colson, it is not different from last year. I didn't change a darn thing. He's texting me while
The
I'm on
Superflex
the air.
part is
Just
different.
listen, listen to the show.
No, the Superflex part is different. We did not have a Superflex last year. That's
Okay, I don't know what to tell you. I haven't looked at this league in months.
I understand that, but that doesn't absolve you of claiming that it's no different than last year when it's very different, and we didn't get that heads up until Griffin brought it up at 10:03 this morning. That's on you. You're a crooked commissioner.
Paul and John both chimed in and said we did not have a super.
I'm sorry. You can't read the rules.
You want me to go study? I don't study the rules of the sports that I broadcast.
Well, that's not really okay.
Read the rules. The hell is this? What kind of banana republic are we operating in?
I have literally everybody text me.
By the
right
way,
now.
you're about to miss your pick.
Oh yeah, you're up. Sorry. You're taking.
Me?
Yeah, you're taking.
You just missed your pick.
You're taking CD.
No, I didn't miss my pick. I'm auto drafting. I'm driving.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
Well,
good
you got
for you.
seeded.
I've set my cue and I've written down on a secret note what my team will do.
Well,
Secret note.
Ken didn't apparently prioritize quarterback in the first round, despite there being this superflex. This superflex has
I did
thrown
not.
the
I did
league
not.
into a upheaval.
I
We don't know what we're
did
doing.
not prioritize
We
quarterback.
can't handle this. We can't have these
What do
things
you mean?
thrown at us.
Joe, did you know it was
It's
a
not
superflex
the
this
Did you
year?
know this was superflex? Yeah, come here. Okay, Serpico didn't know either. Serpico didn't know it was a superflex. You talked to Zales.
I didn't.
You talked to this.
hide it.
This
It's
is
in the rules.
this is some crooked
It's in-
commissioner.
All you have to
shoot,
do
Joe's on the
is
clock.
click on where it says my
you got 10
team,
seconds.
and it shows you where everything is.
Yeah, that doesn't. No one
I know.
does that. That's you hiding something from everyone. You knowing you're taking advantage of the fact that you got Lamar Jackson. Congratulations.
I really don't remember what our rules were like.
God damn it. All right, I would tell you that I loved you, but I'm not sure I feel that way. We'll see how this goes, and then we'll talk about it.
I didn't even take. You can't even argue with me because I didn't take a quarterback in the first round.
I understand that, but it's still we're all very confused, and we needed time. I needed to do some mocks that involved Superflex in order to be prepared for what all of this meant. God!
Take a quarterback. Just take a quarterback. You're picking 12th. You have all day.
I'm not okay with any of this. I feel like you've misled. Are you actually going to tell people to pay this year, or are you going to just say, I don't care. I don't care. I'm retired. I'm out of it. I
told you last year I am happy to run the league. I will not be in charge of collecting money. That's on you and Mr. Colson.
Isn't that part of running the league?
No. That's sort of the way that it works. All right, fine. I'll talk to John. I'll get John to be in charge of collecting the money. Although I don't know that I trust that either. I don't know how I feel about that either.
I don't know. He said he was going to come up with a big prize.
Nobody wants his stupid. He wants to give me like an autographed Wes Unseld poster. Like, all due respect, I love Wes Unseld, but we're not
cool.
We're not doing that. Like, we're not going that bad. We need people to have a stake in this, or else this is nonsense. and it's not worth participating in all season long. You got to put a little bit of money into it.
My stake is that I just want to beat you all.
Yeah, I don't care about that. It's you.
I do.
Yeah, clearly you want to beat
do.
us because you rigged the game. You changed
right.
the rules right as we were starting to play.
I'm not going to take a quarterback for so long that you all can take them all.
All right, let's do that. Let's all collude against KZ.
It's true.
Don't let him take.
No, KZ's
don't
not
let him
allowed
have
to
a quarterback. Everyone draft quarterbacks.
Enjoy Gardner Minshew, a-hole. Enjoy Sam Darnold. May you have a lovely season.
Justin Fields on the bench.
All right, that's enough.
Give me Sam Darnold and Matt Stafford, and I'm good.
Yeah, enough out of you.
Don't let him have Stafford.
This is some shady S. This is some real. I've learned something about you as a commissioner today. I've learned something about you.
You all pretend like you've never done a fantasy league before.
It's not about whether we've ever done a fantasy league. It's that we knew the rules going into the league,
which are clearly stated on the league home.
On the what?
Clearly, on the home of the league.
What
all
is
you
that?
have to do is look
You
at
should have
the
made an
rules.
announcement.
Yeah, Ken, you changed the rules. You changed the rules and said you're
I
on
really
your own to
did.
figure it out.
Okay.
Imagine if we had gone in here today and we found out it was a hockey draft. Would you have been like, hey, man, you should have checked the rules?
If I changed the rules, I apologize because I don't know when I did it.
I mean, I guess we can.
I have no idea when I did it.
Hate everything.
There should be a log.
I run so many leagues. I don't know when I do all these things.
Goodbye. I wish you well with all of your future endeavors.
I love you all.
Bye, KZ.
I just really went back-to-back Lions. I really just did that, and I didn't take a quarterback either on the turn.
After all that, no quarterback.
I went St. Brown and Gibbs. Hi, Joe Serpico is here. If you think that what Ken did is screwy, wait till you find out what Griffin did. I don't know which one of them is more evil.
Wow.
I don't know which
Clearly
one
Ken.
of them is more misleading in the way that they go about their governance. I'm not sure whether it's Ken who changed the rules of the league and told no one, and then tried to pull off no, it's the exact same as it was last year. Go F, it's not the same as last year. I've never in my life played in a Superflex league.
Neither
That's
have I.
never happened.
And now you want me to pay money for it?
I don't know. Yeah, well, you're going to do that. Here, Luke Jackson's over
All right,
here taking all the quarterbacks.
Well, you just go, I'm on
Just
the
took
clock.
both of them.
Gotta take my guy A.J. Brown.
Oh, A.J. Brown. Oh, yeah, look, yeah, Eagles fan getting
There
A.J.
you
Brown.
go.
Look at how that
Lamar
worked out.
Jackson and A.J. Brown to
Look
start.
at how that worked out for Joe Serpico. Oh, yeah, Joe, if you don't mind. We do need that microphone in front of you if you
Okay.
don't mind. Holy hell, I'm not sure what just happened here, but I'm not okay
You're
with
good
it.
on picks this year.
I'm good?
Yeah.
All right, you never
yeah, we're
paid me
even.
for last
Yeah, we're
year,
even.
and so you got to cover my freight. Son of a bitch. You feel good about yourself and who you are. You still have to eat your spaghetti today.
Yeah, I do got to do that for you today.
So
while I'm
Joe
here as well.
Serpico, PressBox Fantasy Football Analyst, is in studio with us. I guess I should finish. Yeah, Cade Povich. They faced the White Sox. The White Sox are awful. God, I definitely had a moment last night where the empathetic part of me kicked in, and I was like, oh Jesus, like this just seems unfair. Like this is like one of those when you watch one of those football games early on in the year. Like at the college level, it can only be so bad because you don't have like D1 teams playing D3 teams or anything like that. You'll have, some really bad FBS, FCS matchups, but you see it all the time at the high school level where like you, in broadcasting, get assigned a game and you don't realize that the other team is Bishop Sycamore. And you start watching and you're just like, oh no. Like, how do we talk about this? And that's how I felt watching the Chicago White Sox last night. Oh, no. What do you do? How do you talk about this? It is an unmitigated disaster. It is just atrocious what it is that you're watching. Still, it's a Major League Baseball game. Cade Povich. It does not make me, nothing about last night says to me, this changes the trajectory of Cade Povich, and now I'm confident with Cade Povich being like in the playoff rotation for the Baltimore Orioles. No. But he did what he should have done against one of the worst teams in the history of baseball. Same time, bless you Texas Rangers. And bless you, Clay Holmes. How's that feel? It doesn't make me... I was in a group text last night with.
Griffin, you're
Yeah, I know. I don't really know who I
You
want to
got
take.
4
here.
seconds, by the way.
I'm trying to, I don't know if I want to go back-to-back running backs here.
I don't know what you want to do either, for what it's worth.
Right, let's do
I don't
that.
have that answer. He did go.
All right, I'll go. I'll get the spaghetti.
Etienne
ready.
and Etienne. Oh yeah, you got to get the spaghetti ready for Joe. Joe's very excited
Oh,
about
I
that.
can't wait. Absolutely can't wait.
Very, very excited. Yes, the Rangers walk off the New York Yankees last night with a grand slam off Clay Holmes in the bottom of the 9th inning, and with that, your Baltimore Orioles are back in first place by themselves in the American League East, and they get another game against the Chicago White Sox, and they do have 6 against the Tigers in September as well. Not that the Tigers are nearly as bad as the White Sox are, but as much as we made about the difficulty of the schedule in June, there is a lot to like about the schedule now. It does seem a bit more favorable at this point, and so that, I would say, is encouraging. They're in first place. They haven't cured all of their ails, but you hope that what they take from these games is an amount of confidence that can carry over. Joe just took his first running back in the 3rd round. Ooh, what a strategy from Luke Jackson, going 0 wide receiver, 0 running back through 3 rounds. 2 quarterbacks and a tight end.
Well, he's
and-
auto-drafting, so
Oh.
he's just getting the scraps.
Oh.
Now, I say scraps now.
Ooh. Oh, what the
He
hell? I
does,
just
have
got...
two, he does have top tight end and 2 top quarterbacks.
I have no idea what I should do. I am
Yeah, this
so
big curveball
perplexed.
definitely
Perplexed
changed
by this
things
league,
for me as
man.
well.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. KZ and then Kyle Ottenheimer are up next. And then I'm on the board for the 12th and the all right. Oh, the next 2 quarterbacks both went off the board. I feel like I better get a quarterback.
They are flying.
But it doesn't. Oh, I don't. I'm so allergic to the idea of taking quarterbacks this early in a draft. I hate it. All right. By the way, I'm trying to click draft on a player, and it's not working. That's great. That seems good. My clock is ticking. I have literally clicked the name of the player that I wanted to draft, and the app appears to be crashing on me. That's awesome. Did my pick go through?
Or was it James Cook?
It was James Cook.
Well, you stole my guy. So
Now I got to get back in to make another pick, and all of a sudden it's not working for me. That is particularly swell. All right, I am on the clock, and I do still have 45 seconds.
So you got some time.
All right, I guess I have to take a quarterback, so I'll go that guy.
Damn it, that was my next.
Oh, that's a real shame, pal. Real shame. I went James Cook and Jaden Daniels with back-to-back picks.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that's the way that it went. No, it's not about Proctor. It's not about me not knowing how to do it. It's that the website stopped working as I clicked the button. It's that I just got a spinning wheel, which is awesome. Now I think, you know who I blame? I think this is Zales. I think on top of rigging the league, he has now additionally rigged the internet here to try to screw my ability. All in a league that, again, I haven't paid a dime for as of yet. Bull ass. Nonsense. Not sure what it means. We're into round 4 of this league. I don't even know how to judge this, Joe Serpico. I don't even know who's had a good draft and who hasn't, because that's how little I know about the Superflex.
Well, that makes 2 of us. Well, it's more I was just not prepared for this whatsoever. I kind
Yeah.
of had an idea in mind to go running back running back wide receiver, one of those kind of combos. I was not ready to start thinking about quarterbacks until the later rounds.
Yeah,
But this forces you to.
That's my issue. Like every draft I've done, no quarterbacks until round 10.
I thought this. I was looking at this maybe an informative segment. Somehow.
No,
like,
this is the dumbest thing.
Yeah, I know. Now it's.
I'm furious with this guy. Furious with him. We gotta get rid of this guy. Remember how I always tell him I didn't believe that he was retired? He doesn't have another choice. He must be retired now. We have to retire.
Oh, we got
him.
Jared Goff. He lied to us.
And this is who I wanted, by the way.
You wanted to go all Lions?
I wanted
Scorched Earth, Detroit Lions.
I'd be actually all in on going all Lions. I'm a big fan. I hate this guy so much. All right, we'll continue to monitor this cockamamie draft that we're doing. I guess. I don't want to because it's nonsense, but we'll continue to monitor it. At the same time, Joe Serpico is also here because I don't even remember what was the side bet that we did this for?
You guys played in the championship, right? Or was it the semifinals that you
It was
played?
either it was semis, because I don't think I made the championship game.
So who else came in here and did this?
Tim.
That was.
But that was Tim did this because I think he was in the picks. He lost picks that week.
Okay. Why did we double dip on this? This is a weird bit.
I guess because
this is the problem with not paying off bets until 8 months later. Is I have legitimately forget. By the way, you're back on the board.
Me. Okay.
Yeah. Or back on the clock. I legitimately forget what the scenarios were by which we did all of these things. But yes, I do think for you and I it was a side bet for
just fantasy purposes for sure.
Was it the championship game or the semifinals?
I think it was semis.
Semis? All right. I did win the championship in this league. Although who knows who might win this league because who knows what this league is.
Ooh, doubling down on the Dolphins there, I see.
Yeah.
How did
You
this
get my boy,
was this from
Colette.
our guy Tyus Bowser? That's what this was? That's where this came from?
Yeah, that's right.
It's new Seattle Seahawk, Tyus Bowser. I'm very happy for him as he's joined Mike McDonald out in the Emerald City.
I gotta check the rest of the rules in this draft or in this league.
Oh, I can't wait to find out that we play three defenses. Yeah. Can't wait to find out. Like there's
We still have
75
kickers in here, though.
other rules that we're not talking about. Jesus.
How do I find the
We still have
rules?
kickers?
We still have kickers.
Yeah.
Notice
Ken,
that.
you know what? Ken's an old man. We got rid of kickers. That was what I liked about this league.
That's right. We did.
Is we
kickers
got
last
rid
year,
of kickers.
which was great.
This is what happened. He's an old man, and he put in rules from some other league that he played in into our league and abandoned all of the rules that we had adopted that I liked. This league sucks. I'm glad we're not paying to be in this league. He should pay for all of us.
Three IR slots. If anybody cares about that.
Okay.
That is worth filing away.
4 points for a passing touchdown, so that's normal. Yeah, everything seems normal so far. PPR. Yes, kickers get 5 points for 50-yard, 4 for a 40-yarder, so on.
Joe Serpico just took his second quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, in the 5th round.
I feel good about my QBs.
Who do you have?
Caleb Williams and Josh Allen.
Not too shabby.
Not bad. I don't want to take
A defensive shutout gives you 10 points.
I just don't want to do it. I don't want to take a second quarterback. I'm going to take Cooper Kupp in the 5th round.
Wow,
I mean,
if you told me you were getting Cooper Kupp in
the
the
5th round,
round,
sure. But I have no idea if that's a good pick or not because I don't understand this league. Hate it here. Like, imagine taking Matthew Stafford in the 6th round of your draft. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. This sucks, man. I don't care. I'm just going to go Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel back-to-back. That's going to be my play. There we go. We're into the 6th round of our cockamamie fantasy draft with rules that were not told to us and that we don't really fully understand and that we have no idea what we should be doing. Ken hasn't taken a second quarterback yet, so I haven't taken a second quarterback yet. Although Ken's not even drafting for real, is he?
that's what he said. Is he still in auto?
I don't know. It doesn't
I
say
just got-
auto.
I just got
It
kicked
does
out of the
still say
draft.
auto.
He did say he wanted
That's
Stafford,
happened to
so
me a
it's
few
gonna-
times. Got a lot of opinions. I got a lot of thoughts about this. All right, you got to get on that spaghetti. We need pictures of the spaghetti too. We need to.
Just dump it on top.
All right, no. So the sauce, then the ranch, right?
Oh my.
That's the way it goes. Griffin, maybe you should prepare the spaghetti
All right, I'll do that.
because I don't want you. Joe, for those that don't know, this hurts him to his core.
I think that's why we agreed to this side.
Yeah,
bet.
Joe, of course, from an Italian family, and even more notably than that, an Italian family that's in the food industry.
Correct.
That's like what you do. So this is truly painful for you, correct?
Well, sauce and ranch, absolutely.
So when you make spaghetti, what Nona, when Nona makes spaghetti, what does it look like? What does it taste like?
Well, that looks like some Prego stuff if I had to guess.
Yeah, it's
definitely not that.
probably some
We do
Prego
it the old
stuff if
school
I
way
had to
with
guess.
real tomatoes, you get the onions in there, all that good stuff. Gotta make sure. Now, it's definitely not
Yeah, that looks like some.
like this stuff here. It's got some more chunks to it, so you can see the real tomatoes.
Yeah,
in there.
understandably so. All right, there you go. So that's Griffin's put the sauce on first, and then again, this is something that legitimately our guy Tyus Bowser does. This is how he eats his spaghetti. He then, after he puts the sauce on, you got to put the ranch on. Then take pictures. Put the ranch on, because then you got to make 2 picks, so you can take 6 more quarterbacks in this stupid league. He then layers ranch on top of it. Yeah. And Tyus Bowser, when he told us this, was so confused by our reactions. We were like, dude, you do what? And he like looked up, you guys don't do that?
No,
Like he was so confused by the way that we responded to this. He was just like, dude, that's how I eat spaghetti. Like I thought that's how everybody ate spaghetti. It's disgusting looking, and it's revolting the thought of it. But Joe Serpico, today, that's your breakfast. As you participate in this cockamamie fantasy draft. It's not even spaghetti time. It's not even time for spaghetti. Joe Serpico enjoying some Tyus. Make sure you send. We should send the picture to Tyus. Okay. We should send it to him and say, "Hey, buddy, how's it look?"
You want to tag him?
Or you can send it to me and I'll text it to him. Oh, although I guess he's practicing today. Hey, look at that! Look at that! That's a man enjoying his meal. Al Griffin, you're back on the clock.
Oh.
How you feeling, pal?
That's an interesting combination.
It's an interesting combination, you
say
say?
the least.
Well, that's a weird way for describing delicious.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, it seems like it would be delicious, right?
Ugh. I gotta do it.
Who's taking 3 quarterbacks?
Should I take a third quarterback? I don't know. I don't know how to play this.
I'm going
I want to look at.
I seriously regret everything about participating in this league. All
Mark
right, describe the
Cooper.
taste. Describe the taste, if you will.
Who got Nico Collins?
You're obviously going to start
Luke did.
putting ranch on your spaghetti now
Absolutely
moving
not,
forward.
no.
It's that good?
I've put it on pasta before, but
What
not,
pasta do you put ranch on?
I made like a little pasta salad instead of using mayonnaise. You use ranch dressing.
All right, a pasta salad, I could understand that,
but
perhaps.
not just never like this. Let's just put it that way.
Describe what it is. Please.
I mean, you get every bit of the ranch. Let's put it that way. Every bit of ranch,
And it doesn't.
and then a mix in. Of
It
that
doesn't
sort of
create like just a
It's not like a cream
delicious
sauce or anything like
flavor profile that you've enjoyed a great
Not
deal.
necessarily. As
No,
you can see, I'm
not the
kind of
case.
regretting the second bite here.
It's
Taking my sweet time with it.
Joe Serpico in studio with us this morning,
I missed the tight end.
enjoying his spaghetti and ranch. Oh God, I'm out on the tight end run. Crap. Oh,
You're screwed now.
this
actually.
league sucks, man.
Well, you can get.
I truly
You might be able to
hate
get Brock
this league.
Bowers, you know.
Oh, good. I'll have Brock Bowers and Gardner Minshew throwing him in the football. Today's show brought to you by. This one's brought to you by the print issue of PressBox, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms. Any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find PressBox, you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Kyle Hamilton is on the cover. You can go pick that up right now, read it for free. I don't even know how to talk about this fantasy draft. I really don't. That was part of why we wanted to do this on the air, is that we could make content out of it. I have no idea. Have I had a good draft? Have I had a bad? I don't have any earthly idea. I apparently don't have enough quarterbacks. I have too many wide receivers. I don't have enough quarterbacks. I don't have enough tight ends.
Well, you got
This is
Daniels.
a dumb league that should not exist, and I'm beside myself about it. And I
Nice
want
little learning experience this year.
a learning experience. I want to speak to someone's manager. I want to, in fact, I want to cancel this and do a real draft.
We've got another day.
Yeah, I think we should all get together after this and say, hey, that was fun. Can we just?
That was a nice little exercise.
Can we just not? Can we just reconsider and perhaps read some literature on the subject? Joe Serpico will take his.
Baker Mayfield in the 7th. Could be a steal. You never know.
This is not a draft. If you're taking Baker Mayfield in the 7th, then it shouldn't exist.
KZ took him.
Fire it into the sun.
I'll stack Trevor Lawrence with Christian Kirk, I guess.
God, I hate it here.
Wow, Jeremy. I kind of like Jeremy's team. Loading up on wide receivers.
Well, he's not there drafting.
No, he's not.
No. Is that KZ's son?
Josh?
Jay's Alice? Is that Jonah? Is that who that is?
I thought it was Josh.
Assume that's who that is.
Don't. He got me like neighbors. Darn it.
I hate this. All right, I don't have anything else to add. I'm sorry. I'm so thrown off by the existence of this league and how it's ripped our show into upheaval. But at least I get to enjoy Joe enjoying his spaghetti.
Not enjoying
At least I have that going.
You're doing a good job,
me.
Joe.
I mean, I'm a man of my word, but
I do appreciate that.
This is not.
You guys aren't going to put that on the menu moving forward?
No, I think we're gonna be all right.
You're not going to?
We've had things that look like this, but they don't involve ranch. They're cream sauce, but they don't involve ranch.
I guess. Okay, so I'm looking. Here's the problem. I now am up in the in the 6th round. What is this? 7th round? The 7th round of this league.
7-8 turn right here.
And I'm looking at the quarterbacks, and there's Deshaun Watson, and then it's Will Levis and Geno Smith. I have no interest in having Deshaun Watson. I also have a personal rule to not put Deshaun Watson on my fantasy teams.
That's fair.
But I almost feel like at this point I have to take Deshaun Watson because
You could take Will Levis.
you have to. I'm taking Deshaun Watson.
Oh, gosh.
What?
I don't know.
What?
I don't like that pick.
What do you not like about that pick?
For
Not
multiple
many
reasons.
more options afterwards, so you just kind of got
For
to
multiple
Yeah,
reasons.
it's what's left.
Russell Wilson's still on there.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones and Russell Wilson.
He's
I
got no
coulda
running
had-
back now. Who's
I
going to be
coulda
running the
had
football?
those guys. Christ. And I guess I'll take. I don't want Brock Bowers. I'll take Jake Ferguson as my tight end because that's the last of the usable tight ends to me.
I agree.
So there you go. There's my turn there in order to address two needs that I had on the roster of this league that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to be good at or not. Do you have a way to judge? Like, do you know enough about Superflex that you feel confident in judging what everybody has done so far?
I can.
No, great.
To be honest,
Great.
I do like your team. I'm not gonna lie. though.
Do I? Do you? What do you
Yes.
like about my team?
I'm big on Amon-Ra St. Brown this year. I'm very big on James Cook this year and Cooper Kupp and Jaden Daniels. To be honest, I was kind of hoping to get him as my second quarterback. So,
But would you like him as your first quarterback? Because that's what he's going to be for me.
I would have liked a stronger combo than him and Watson. Say him and I don't know. Let's say Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I would have liked that too, I guess.
But,
I don't know.
That did not happen, obviously.
Yeah, it's what.
There we go. I need myself another wide receiver, so we'll take Calvin Ridley.
You got Zay Flowers, Christian Kirk. That's not bad. Oh, and AJ Brown. I forgot. Yeah,
Yep.
you got a nice.
But now I got to work
Yeah,
on running
thin
backs.
at running back.
Very thin at running back.
Thin there.
That has been a thing I have noticed this summer as a whole. Running backs are flying off the boards. I did one last Saturday. First 3 rounds, every running back
I think
was gone.
that was what I noticed from the first draft that I did this year is that you love the wide receivers that are there early on, but then the wide receiver stays. It's deeper. Like you realize, I think I did a draft with Proctor this weekend, and Proctor got Chris Godwin in like the 9th. You're like, man, that's a decent wide receiver to be taking that late in the draft. Whereas the caliber of the running backs dips quick.
After, let's say, the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah. So you have that thing in your mind where you're like, maybe I'll go 0 running back, right? Like maybe that's the play. And then really quickly you're like, well, that maybe wasn't the best strategy for me to have because the running back quality kind of tends to fall apart.
Well, I agree with that totally.
So
look where we're at right now in round, 8?
yeah.
Do you want a Tony Pollard or a Jalen Warren, or would you rather have a Calvin Ridley or what other receivers?
Roma Dunze, Lad
Dunze,
McConkey
yeah,
is
or,
on the board.
A couple of these wide receivers. I'd rather have these wide receivers that you're going to get year-long consistency from them as opposed to some of these running backs right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's where we're at. All right, Griffin's up at the turn.
I don't know what to do.
You have 2 quarterbacps already, and you have your tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I might get another tight end.
lineup.
Yeah. Well, because we still have 2 flexes, so I technically don't have
touche,
a.
touche.
Yeah.
Let's get this over.
I don't know who to.
Look at that. It just looks like. I feel like you're not incorporating.
like-
There's a big glob of ranch over on
Do
the
you
side
like-
of the plate.
Do you like
Yeah.
Rome,
And I feel like
Joe?
you need to.
Do I like Rome this year?
Yeah.
Be honest, not really, just because he's got too many mouths to feed in there. Now I can see you have
You know what?
Caleb.
I'm
so
just
it
gonna
makes
reach.
sense. No, that's not a reach whatsoever. I like Jackson Smith and Jigba this year.
I also kind of like Brock Bowers.
Can you please make sure he incorporates that side ranch over there and then like he needs to mix it in.
There you go.
There's ranch on the side that's going to waste.
Oh, this
like
right here,
it
is
needs
that what you're
it's a
worried
meal, Joe. It's a meal. You need a
I
little
wouldn't
bit
call
of
that.
you need a little bit of everything.
Wouldn't call
Like
that.
Maybe I'll take.
it's the way that Nona served it to you. You know what I mean? Like, you need to make sure.
I may go Hollywood here. Stash
If she
him
saw
on
this
that.
right now, she would hit me in the face.
Let's do that one.
Really love that. I
All right.
really love that.
Got a rookie wide
Xavier-
receiver.
Mom or
Xavier
Dad's not
Worthy.
watching right now either.
Oh
I
God.
went JSN and Xavier Worthy.
How
on my
Italian
side.
is your family, Joe?
Both my parents from the same hometown, over in Italy.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize it was that. It was one generation. I didn't realize
I
that.
am the first American in the whole family.
Holy crap. Oh, this has got to be a dark day in your family's history. This has got to be like what would the response be? What if your parents knew what you were doing right now? What would if they find out later today, if
Just
somebody
a look of
says,
disgust, let's just put it that
yeah,
way.
would it be like that? I'm not mad.
Now they've seen me on a few benders, so that's not the
Fair,
worst.
okay, fair.
So
enough.
that's not their worst they've seen.
Saying
But
it's
then
not
when
the-
the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they saw me probably at my worst that day. Worst and best, let's put it that way.
Oof. So would it be one of those I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed situations?
Let's put it that
Would
way.
it be
I
that
think
that
that's
would
a
be the
strong way
that
to
would be
word
the
it,
way that
yeah.
it would have responded? I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Damn, I you didn't get my guy, Luke Jackson. I wanted Tony Pollard. I was really thinking that he might last at this point. And I was really excited about Tony Pollard being that available for me that late in the draft. So now I'm back to not liking anyone.
Joe got Javonte. Darn it. I should have taken Javonte.
Why are you so hot and bothered about Javonte Williams? He's going to tell us that he's going to want to take Jaleel too in a bit.
No,
Well,
I think Javonte is actually going to bounce back this year, a year removed from the ACL injury, so that's why I kind of like him this year.
I'll let you like him.
And Sean Payton running backs typically put up decent numbers.
yes.
I'll let that be
So
your
one of them
thing.
should be good.
Why does it keep kicking me out of the draft?
Oh, you're almost up.
I'm back in, I think.
Okay.
Is this where we are? Dallas Goedert is going. If you didn't get your tight end and all the tight end, then you should probably just not draft a tight end for a little while, right? Like, what's the difference between Dallas Goedert?
I know Paul got his tight end.
Got one, right? Yes.
Jeremy got it. So everybody's got a tight end. Everybody's got a tight end.
What I'm saying is Jonah, Ken's son,
Oh.
just took Dallas Goedert in
So
the
you're
ninth
saying
round.
You should have just waited.
I'm saying at that point, just keep drafting good football players and get whatever's left in the 12th round, the tight end. Just take your tight end then.
Probably. But he is his Alice, so who knows? Maybe he knows something we don't.
I was thinking about Keon Coleman, actually. That was a snake. All right,
Good
well,
job, Kyle.
tell you what I'm about to do.
You need your quarterback.
You can I got two quarterbacks.
Oh, that's right. You did get Deshaun.
Yeah, I got Deshaun Watson. Look what I'm about to do.
take
Oh
J-
my God! I
J.K.
just got
Dobbins and Gus
kicked. I
Edwards?
just got kicked out again.
Well, you
Are you
got
gonna-
40 seconds.
You gonna take
You got
JK
40
and Gus back to back here?
No, but it's
I had a
similar.
buddy of mine do that in
Yeah.
the league.
So did
Both
my-
went
so did
back
my-
to back.
Watch what I'm about to
He
do.
was like just banking on one of them to hit. I was like, I don't hate it.
Jeremy Ford.
Jeremy.
Jerome Ford.
And so who am I going next?
I guess you're going with the Chubb.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. That's my back-to-back
There
there.
you go. And you could place him on the IR spot right away.
Exactly right. Now I don't love that, but I kind of like doing the back. That's why I do like having the turn. I like that because then you can make moves like that and have some fun with it.
There's still some running backs available. Okay.
Yeah, there's still some. All right, we got to talk to Devin McCourty here in a minute, and get some real football conversation here, and not this cockamamie superflex nonsense. Joe Serpico is in studio. Any particular week one advice that you have? Like, I'll give you an example. Where are you with like the Bengals running backs going into week one?
Both are kind of hard to start just because you don't know which one is going to be the guy. I think ultimately it is going to end up being Chase Brown just because of what he adds as a pass catcher too. But it's hard to ignore when Zach Moss was healthy last year for Jonathan Taylor, how good he was for them. So I think the early start of the year, you're probably going to see a little bit of a split, which makes it kind of hard to start one of those guys. Now, in a league like ours, you're probably going to have to just because of the two flex spots. But it's hard to imagine really relying on one of those guys. Let's say if you're in a normal league like let's say a 10 or 12 team is not a super flex. It's kind of hard to rely on those guys. There's still guys available even in this draft right now that I kind of rely on a little bit more than him.
All right. By the way, John Colson says the prize will be a $200 gift card at live casino restaurants, which is lovely. That sounds great. I'm not mad about that whatsoever. I do still think that we should pay money because I want to keep people involved. We already have 3 people who aren't even drafting because that's the problem with this. Like, if we want this to be a thing, I think it requires us to have some skin in the game. But that'll be a conversation for another day. A lot of people, just about everybody, furious about what old KZ pulled. What he pulled today. Well, this will go down in history.
Whoever's champ this year has earned it. Let's put it that way. And if it's KZ, then it was rigged.
I
agree.
I'm
Either
100.
Zallis, I should say.
100%. There are a lot of problems with what's going on here, and I
Bottom
am
of this
not.
plate is not appealing whatsoever.
But unlike the top of the plate,
I
look,
mean-
you've really motored
I know.
through it
I'm
though,
impressed.
like
I'm
a
impressed.
champ.
Down, man.
I do
Get it down.
appreciate the opinion. By the way, you know when you're on the clock, right?
Oh, shoot.
I do appreciate the opinion
Did not
of
know that.
get it over with. I wish you could convince my son, my 9-year-old, who when he doesn't like something just holds it in his mouth for 20 minutes.
Oh, no.
Like, dude,
Let's
it's
let it
not
warm
gonna
up.
get better.
Do you like any Buffalo receivers, Joe?
Shakur, if I'm pronouncing his name right. I do like him.
Shakir
I think he's going to be.
Don't
I think
think-
he's going to be their number one receiver this year.
Believe I'm going to go with Chase Brown here.
All right.
I do like the
gotta
Jameson
get
When we
running back.
come back in, we are going to chat with Devin McCourty. We will preview Chiefs-Ravens coming up tomorrow night, the season opener. That's on the way. Joe Serpico is in studio with us. And if you missed Stan the Fan, Charles, Ross Grimsley, Luke Jackson, they got together yesterday to talk baseball. You can find it right now. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday. Oh, we got to do that, too. It's a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to the 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring locally sourced food at the Fresh Food Fest, a beer, wine, and spirits showcase, shopping, and fun for all ages. Check out the Maryland Corgi Cup, interactive kids corner, and more. It's the place to be in October. Visit Maryland5star.us for tickets.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at costasinn.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4, available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens star safety Kyle Hamilton, detailing his path from growing up the son of a basketball player to choosing football, being overlooked in the draft, and turning into a defensive unicorn as a playmaking Swiss Army knife in the NFL. Also inside, meet college football players from all of the area's D1 programs and some of the area's college soccer standouts as well. PressBox is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, this is nonsense continues. I don't even mean Joe eating his somehow Joe eating spaghetti and ranch is not the dumbest thing that's happening on the show today, which is unbelievable. Joe Serpico's here. We had to do this a little bit earlier on because of his schedule, getting ready for a big broadcast week, but we had the opportunity to catch up with Devin McCourty. Let's take a listen right here on GCR. Of course, it is kickoff week in the NFL, and we are so excited here in Baltimore. Our next guest is a studio analyst for NBC Sports Football Night in America, the most watched weekly studio show in all of sports. And this week, it's a big week for them as 6 playoff teams, 3 NFL primetime games across 2 continents, includes Eagles, Packers, and Brazil on Friday, exclusively on Peacock, and Rams, Lions on Sunday Night Football. But it all, of course, starts tomorrow night, the one we care about the most. Ravens, Chiefs in Kansas City. It's a pleasure to welcome back to the program Devin McCourty, who's with us on GCR. Devin, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
No problem, man. It's funny, as you read all of that, I was like, I'm trying to keep up with all these time zones and everything we got going on this week.
Wait, I mean, are you working everything this week?
Well, I'm not live in Brazil because I'll be live in Kansas City, but we're in studio. We're in Kansas City and then in studio Friday and Sunday all day.
Phew, man, that's you know what though, that beats working for a living.
It sure does. It's all football. We'll take it.
No doubt, man. Devin, what do you make of the impact of what happened in the AFC Championship game going into this game? Like football players, they always try to say new year, new team, the whole deal. But it's still so crushing for so many people here in Baltimore. Are the Ravens players really capable of separating their emotions, or does it impact them, and in what way going into tomorrow night?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to fully put into words because you're still angry about it. It's still, you want to play in the Super Bowl. You wanted an opportunity to go win a championship. Baltimore had the right pieces. They had a great team last year. So I think that always sits with you and stings. I've been on those teams where you've lost in AFC championships or even in a Super Bowl. But I think the thing as a player you start to realize is even if we come back and we beat the Chiefs opening week and we feel like we got revenge, we still didn't get what we wanted, and it's still not going to be ultimately what we want for this season. So then I think you start to settle back down. You realize it's another game. You watch the game from last year from an X and O standpoint to learn from it, but then you move on and you prepare for what you ultimately hope is the beginning of a Super Bowl run, not just beating the Chiefs on opening night.
Devin, we have made so much in our city about how the game plan was just so bizarre in the AFC Championship game. But I ask it this way. If the Ravens had run the ball more in that game, if they had a Derrick Henry, are you confident that alone would have been the difference? And do you are they the better team of these two teams? Or is that just us, feeling that way because it was so bizarre, but ultimately they would have had Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. They probably would have had the trump card, and they are really still the team to beat going into the season this year as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree at the end of what you said. I still think the Chiefs is a team to beat. I think why I love the game of football so much is everything you just said is how people want to play football on paper.
Yeah.
And it's as old as, any great coach, high school, Pop Warner, college, NFL, they'll tell you the gift and the thing about football is it's not played on paper. You got to go out there and play. So as much as we would like to say, hey, implement Derrick Henry in there, run the ball more, and the Ravens are a better team, they win, we've always watched teams play against other teams in huge games. And I think across the board we can say, hey, this team is better. I would say last year watching Baltimore, Kansas City, going into the game, I thought it was clearly that the Baltimore Ravens was a better team, whole body of work, how they were playing. But at the end of the day, it comes down to one game, and it's who plays the best in those big moments. And that, to me, is what Kansas City is special at because of, like you mentioned, because of Patrick Mahomes, because of Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, Spagnuolo, all of those guys. That's when they're at their best moment. So that's when you have to beat them if you want to be a champion.
He is the 3-time Super Bowl champion, Devin McCourty. He's with us here on GCR. Of course, NBC and Peacock will kick off the season tomorrow night with the Chiefs and the Ravens. Pregame coverage beginning at 7 o'clock with Football Night in America on site down at Arrowhead Stadium. Devin, I bring that up in part because we almost want to convince ourselves that the difference for the Ravens can be the presence of Derrick Henry and keeping the Chiefs' offense off the field a little bit more. Is that too simplistic, or is it truly possible that in making up the difference and acknowledging that it might not just be the Chiefs that you have to get past. Like, the AFC is murderer's row at this point, but is it possible that what is a good Ravens team, we know it's a good Ravens team, getting that over the hump, getting that to the next level of reaching or winning a Super Bowl, the difference could be the presence of a Derrick Henry?
Yeah, and I think that's what you hope for. That's why you go out and sign him. In 2014, we signed Darrelle Revis, and ultimately, like, not just his play, but the team and everything. He was kind of like the missing piece that year. And when we got him and we got out there on the field, it felt like that. Like, man, this is all we needed to go out there and now finish the job. And I think you look at Derrick Henry and what he's done in this league, you are hoping, all right, we pair him with Lamar Jackson. We continue to work on what we're doing in the passing game. It showed I thought it was a huge difference last year with Todd Monken and how he was able throughout the season to use the running game to implement different passes and things like that. And that was all without, for a good part, without Mark Andrews. So you get him back healthy, and now you have a new kind of, not new player, but Isaiah Likely, who's unlocked different things that he can now do because he got more playing time, with Andrews out. So I think it's everything put together, but you're hoping just having Derrick Henry, not just for the big runs he might have, but like even him as a person, a leader, a veteran, having him makes a difference like that. All those things go into, I think, taking some teams from being, one of the best teams to the best team, because you said it. The AFC, forget the AFC, the AFC North is going to be a gauntlet just getting out of that and trying to win that division.
That's a fact. There's no doubt about it with a healthy Joe Burrow in particular. How concerned are you about, again, the Ravens are trying to move 3 parts of their offensive line going into the season and not having brought in, veteran free agents. Inexperienced offensive line starters are being put into place this year, guys that are they're going to have to go out and learn on the job, right? How concerning is that to you, the idea of overhauling that much of your line with guys that certainly are thought of, but haven't done it in the NFL, and particularly going into a matchup against Chris Jones?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you sit there and you're like, well, we like what we have. And I think that is more important than experience. I played, obviously, all 13 years in New England, and, every year we would get ready for the playoffs, and Coach Belichick would get up there and he would get on his long speech, and he would tell us, I don't want to hear anybody talk about experience. That doesn't matter. I don't care how many playoff games you played in. He said every year there's some young guy who's never played in the playoffs, a rookie or a veteran who's never made it, and they have some of the biggest plays and biggest impact in the game. And I think when you have young players in the offensive line like Baltimore's going to have, if you like them as players, then ultimately you're a good football team. You want them to be playing their best ball come December, January, of hey, all of the lumps that we took early in the season and things we learned from, it was all to make you ready for these moments. And that's what you hope for when you put young players out there, is that they continue to get better. And when you need them the most at their best, the experience that they've had from the regular season and playing ultimately helps them be the best version of themselves when you need it the most.
It's one of these weird conversations, Devin, and I'm sure I'm not supposed to say this in hyping up the game for NBC. I'm not trying to be dismissive of this game, but what you just said to me is more significant than the Ravens could go down to Kansas City tomorrow night and win by 3 touchdowns, and for a day we'd feel really good in Baltimore. And then come Monday, the conversation would shift back to, right, but what do they do when they face them in the playoffs, right? It's this weird vibe that exists here in Baltimore where, this one almost doesn't matter. It matters in that, hey, it's the game, you're going to go play it, but that's the measurement by which we're facing the Ravens now, is you've got to prove this in the postseason. So to the same point, if it doesn't go the right way, I can't pretend like it's the end of the world if the offensive line struggles a little bit as they're trying to get things together. That ends up being the difference. It's just a weird vibe that we have here where it's a big game. It matters. It's Ravens-Chiefs, but at the same time, we just don't think it matters the way it would matter, presuming these teams are going to get together again in the postseason.
Yeah, I understand everything you just said. Being in New England and getting there and basically being behind what the first dynasty did, 3 Super Bowl titles, all of the good stuff, 3 and 4 years, you get there, and it was 10 years before we won again. But that whole time that I was a young player there, all we heard about was well, if they lose this game, then that means their season's over. And it'd be an opening game, like, oh, this is the biggest game they got. And you buy into it a little bit as a player, and you start to be like, oh, wow, maybe we're not that good. Maybe we're never going to get to it. And you have to always kind of take a step back and realize, like, hey, we can only take this one game at a time. We got to do we have to take care of what's in front of us before we worry about the bigger picture. Let the coaching staff, let Harbaugh, let all those guys worry about the bigger picture. And as a player, you just go out there and do what you're supposed to do, because that's what I've loved about Lamar Jackson. Whether I sat down with him last year or watching him do other interviews and everyone wants to hype up to him and Patrick Mahomes or Kansas City, Baltimore opener, he always brings it back to his ultimate goal is to bring a championship to Baltimore, and that's what he's focused on. And I think that's the key part. You need to have that kind of vision of, we have to focus on getting to that game. And how do we do that? Get better game by game, day by day. Fix the things you need to fix and prepare for whenever you need to pull something out that you have it because of the repetitions throughout the season.
Devin McCourty, just another few minutes here on GCR as he's getting ready for a big weekend for NBC and Peacock, which, of course, kicks off with Ravens-Chiefs tomorrow night. Devin, I'm glad you brought up Lamar because you know that all of the talking head shows, right? And, like, I'm not trying to take shots. This is our business. Are almost obsessed with conversation about Lamar Jackson. It's like an economy to have takes related to Lamar Jackson. And I have found the conversation, like here, it's almost largely boring. Lamar Jackson's a damn good quarterback. The only question now is, will he lead the Ravens to a Super Bowl? And I think he will at some point. I think it's very difficult because Patrick Mahomes is uber generational, is unlike anything we've ever seen before. So this conversation is flatly boring to me, like trying to put all of this pressure on Lamar Jackson. He's a two-time NFL MVP. He is on his way to the Hall of Fame. There is no debate about the greatness of Lamar Jackson to me. The only thing is, will he get the Ravens to a Super Bowl? I think he's got a great chance, but hell, Dan Marino never won one. I can't guarantee it. I don't know what else there is to say about it at this point.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the conversation will always move, right? Some quarterbacks will be talked about how great they were, and even though they didn't win a Super Bowl, it'll be okay. You mentioned Dan Marino. Like, he's still viewed as one of the greatest quarterbacks to play the game. Lamar Jackson happens to be playing in an era with not only just how talented and great Patrick Mahomes is, but that whole organization has assembled something that is very productive, with Spagnuolo deciding to stay and not leave and be the defensive coordinator, Andy Reid and what he's been able to do. Like, that whole setup is just elite. It's awesome. So to me, I agree 100% what you said. It doesn't take away from Lamar Jackson's greatness. It does nothing to deteriorate that. He's continued to get better year by year, no matter who's been on the team, receiver-wise, the offensive line, he's continued to just grow. And when you really think about it, he's the guy who sat in that green room all the way till the last pick in the first round, where everything was, is he going to be a quarterback? Is he going to be an athlete, a receiver? And the guy has turned into one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, period.
Fact. Are those your kids trying to tell you it's time to get going today? Is that what's going on?
My youngest has orientation at his preschool. The other ones are at school.
All right. I promise it'll be the last one because I want to get a secondary question in for you. We've talked about Kyle Hamilton, you and I, before, and I know you're a fan. There's a lot of questions about the turnover from Mike McDonald to Zachary Orr, and obviously the departures of some of the more predominant players. Jadeveon Clowney had such a good season, and Patrick Queen. The depth that the Ravens have in the secondary, not just game changers like Hamilton, but Brandon Stevens being such a solid number 2 cornerback when Arthur Millette comes back, and you add in a first-round pick like Wiggins. How much confidence do you have in the Ravens' defense ability to keep playing at such a high level, particularly because of how deep and how good their secondary is?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it firsthand for years. I used to hate it. It was just like no matter who left Baltimore, it was just like the culture and what they built there, it's built on having great defenses. And it just felt like, Ozzie Newsome and DeCosta, they always did a good job of bringing in the next wave of guys that you're like, how did they have Ray Lewis for all these years and then they end up with Roquan Smith? You're just how do they do that? So I have full belief in this defense. I think what they have the ability to do. And I think with Zach Orr, I think he's going to have the same kind of mindset of what Mike McDonald brought and being aggressive and playing to the strengths of the player. So I'm anxious to see how they continue to build on what they do in the secondary. Obviously, that's what I love to watch. But I looked at what Kyle Hamilton did last year because of Geno Stone being there. He was able to play kind of different roles of safety / nickel / like linebacker a little bit. And I'm anxious to see just what they decide to do if Eddie Jackson becomes a part of the 3 safety set, or do they play their corners more. Nate Wiggins was I felt he was the top corner coming out of the draft this year. And so far, he has shown that. So I love watching the defense. One of my best friends is Kyle Van Noy, and I think he's one of those guys that no matter what team he's on, no one ever can count it as a big signing or, what he can do. But it always seems like when he gets on a team, he has the ability to make big plays, to have big years, to help a defense kind of get over the edge and do some of the things they want to do. And last year he had one of his best years statistically, but I think ultimately what he's able to do and the versatility he brings just adds even more to what they have. But obviously Matabike in the middle, and like I mentioned before, Roquan Smith.
What a great dude Kyle Van Noy is too, man. You are just a 10 of a human being, man. We really enjoyed having him. At Devin McCourty is how you follow him on Twitter. And again, NBC, he's going to be as much a part of your life as your own kids are over the course of the next few days. Starting tomorrow night, Ravens, Chiefs, NBC, and Peacock. Devin, enjoy orientation. Always appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
That's Devin McCourty with us here on GCR as we get ready for Ravens Chiefs tomorrow night. All right, our draft is in the books, Joe Serpico. And Joe Serpico literally only has like 2 bites of his spaghetti left on top of that. He wasn't messing around today. Any initial thoughts that you have about this nonsense draft?
I was not ready for this whatsoever.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us.
I was not ready to be taking Lamar Jackson in the first round whatsoever.
I wasn't ready to be drafting Derek Carr and Deshaun Watson.
Okay, touche.
Yeah.
Beat there.
Yeah.
Initial look, like I said before, I kind of like how you initially started your team out. I'm big on St. Brown. I'm big on James Cook. Very big on Daniels. Cooper Kupp that late's kind of a steal as well.
Yeah. If it was a normal league,
I mean,
if it was a real league.
But Cooper Kupp, I kind of would like him in the 3rd or 4th rounds in your normal leagues, yes. Jake Ferguson, I think, is a guy, getting him that late is definitely a nice pick, too, just because who else is catching the ball other than CD for the Cowboys?
That's the one other, like, that was why I was willing to go there as far as tight ends that were left.
And then after that, there's a major drop-off, like you were saying before. Interesting for the Browns running back stack there.
When you say interesting, it sounds like you don't like it.
I mean, we were saying before, I have a buddy of mine that did the same thing for the Chargers, just trying to figure out who it is. Yours situation is a little bit better. Once Chubb is back, you pretty much know it's going to be his job.
That's the idea.
And then if he doesn't come back, Ford was a top 25 running back last year. So I don't hate it, but I don't love it just because you're relying on 2 guys on the same team. I'd rather have, let's say, a Tajay Spears and who went the next pick, and a Jerome Ford. At least you got 2 guys you know are going to contribute right away. That's kind of my thinking there.
All right. Let's switch over. We'll save Griffin's,
Okay.
save analysis of Griffin for coming up in a little bit. This was a cockamamie experience, and I'm not a fan of it. I never want to do it again. And we're going to take the power out of Ken's
tell us
hands
beforehand.
forward. Yeah, that would be the way to handle
the
it.
main thing.
Hey, don't forget, next week we kick off the Arthur Millette Show. Join us Tuesday night, the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Number 10, Arthur Millette, will be with us and a special guest. Come out and hang out with us as we recap whatever happens in Kansas City tomorrow night. We'll be doing it all season long. You can find out more by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Millette, M-A-U-L-E-T. It's the Arthur Millette Show every Tuesday night. It's brought to you by not every Tuesday night, every other Tuesday night, my apologies. It's brought to you by Easy Pass as well as helpmygamblingproblem.org. Ravens Chiefs tomorrow night. That gives me an opportunity to catch up with one of my favorite people. He, of course, the predominant sports talk voice in Kansas City. You hear him as the host of the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB. He is Soren Petro, and he's with us this morning here on GCR. Soren, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Doing great, man. Just looking forward to getting the the pro football season started.
Dude, it's got to be like, tell me it's like boring at this point for you guys. You guys are like, whatever. They're going to win the Super Bowl again. Who cares? Like, it's just got to be boring at some point, right?
It's not boring, but it's reached a level of where, like, you know, the expectations are just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the rate. You're probably right. The regular season's a little bit of a, you know, it's not like, oh man, you know, Red Friday. And first of all, because they've opened on a Thursday the last, 3 years. So it's like, you know, they do their little charity thing where they get out, and they give away flags and, you know, for donations and everything. And it used to be such a big deal on Friday, and, you know, you're getting ready for the big season to go. And now it's kind of like everyone's like, oh man, another weekday game, and God, it screws up the whole week. And so yeah, there is. I had to think about it for a second, but, you know, just a hint of boredom. But there's a lot of excitement as well. But there is kind of like, let's get this regular season done and get on to what matters, which is the postseason.
Is there something interesting about the legitimate possibility of being the first team to three-peat? Like, has that, not even for the fan base, but even for, like, the team, how much juice is behind that and the actual history that's at stake this season?
Patrick Mahomes talked about it on the sideline before they'd even gotten on the stage at the Super Bowl this past year. Travis Kelce talked about it on the stage. I mean, they made that the talking point before they'd ever gotten their rings, before they'd ever even held up the trophy. They were already mentioning win 3 in a row, and that has continued throughout the whole offseason. Now, the question is this just bravado? Is it bluster? Or are they all in for this, right? Like, is this actually, you know, have they found the right talking points to make it sound good, and they're really fat and happy, like I think most teams that have won a couple of championships are, maybe the way they were for the first half of last year? Or is it really the driving force? I think we find out with that game against Baltimore. Did they bring it? Did they bring their A game? Because they've got Baltimore and Cincinnati at home, and then 9 of their next 15 are on the road. So they better be ready to play, and it better be a driving point for them. They've said it all off season. We'll find out tomorrow night if it's reality.
Soren, we know here the Ravens are like significantly different. Particularly the offensive line is very different going into this season. The presence of Derrick Henry. How different is this Chiefs team than the one that we saw in the game that we don't talk about here in Baltimore?
You know, they lost 2 starters on defense. Willie Gay to the Saints, a good coverage linebacker that was really – they think they've got the replacement. Drew Tranquill will play even more than he did, and he was great last year for him. And Leo Chenal, who's more of a downhill linebacker, will get more snaps. So they think they've got the replacement there. But then L'Jarius Sneed, losing him to the Titans, it was big. They had, you know, one of their strengths was their great depth at corner. They had no weakness as you went to the nickel and the dime, and even if they wanted to bring out another corner, and their safeties were deep. And then Mike Edwards was a backup safety. They lost him as well. And they made no defensive additions other than what they drafted until they traded for Cam Thomas on cutdown day and added some depth at defensive end. So, you know, that's really where the changes were. You know, they have losses on that side of the ball. Like I said, they have good depth, but they haven't had anybody step up to be that number 2 guy. Trent McDuffie will be very good as the number 1 guy now. He was first-team All-Pro nickelback last year, and they've debated as to where they're going to play him. But, you know, Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator, and Dave Merritt, the defensive backs coach, have been great at just kind of the next guy plugging and going. They lost Charvarius Ward, and L'Jarius Sneed stepped up. And, you know, they grabbed Trent McDuffie in the draft, and they've gotten great production out of those guys. So they won't be as good without L'Jarius Sneed, but I think they feel like they've got some answers there. Where they think they're better is the additions on offense. They think Kingsley Suamataia, their second-round pick, will be better than Donovan Smith was, who was just a solid guy at left tackle. They're hoping they've upgraded the athleticism there, and they'll be better with him. Xavier Worthy's speed and Hollywood Brown when he's healthy, his speed and depth at wide receiver should be much better than when they opened last year with Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney dropping balls all over the place against the Detroit Lions. They feel like they're better. Even without Hollywood Brown in this game, they think they're better, at wide receiver. A year of experience for Rashee Rice, and doesn't look like his suspension is going to come down until next year. So they think they're a lot better at the receivers. They think they'll be able to push the football down the field. So defensively, they probably take 1 step back. I think offensively, the hope is they've taken 2 steps forward.
He is Soren Petro, 810 WHB in Kansas City. He's with us here on Glenn Clark Radio. Soren, you know, because you and I have talked about it, I really like the addition of Hollywood Brown, and clearly we won't see him tomorrow night. But maybe it's only relevant for fantasy football reasons, but what do you expect that wide receiver group to look like? Do you think one of them steps forward, or it's a committee. This is always going to be an offense that goes through Travis Kelce. It's just good to have options. If they can all be productive, then the Chiefs are going to be in great shape.
Well, we've seen a number of guys brought in at wide receiver, whether it was Sammy Watkins going back to like I think 16, 17 when he was brought in. And we've seen Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who was really kind of not the replacement for Tyreek Hill, but was the guy who was supposed to stretch the field, kind of the way Sammy Watkins was. And they've just been okay. I think there's real optimism that Hollywood Brown is going to be maybe not 1,300 yards, your number one fantasy option, but will be 800 yards, will be 7-8 touchdowns, will be a guy that can be a real contributor to the team. I think they're always going to want to spread the ball around. Travis Kelce's always going to get his. But I think the guy that emerges, if you mentioned a fantasy standpoint, is Rashee Rice. He came on down the stretch. He'll be more of a chain mover and not really the deep threat. I think, Xavier Worthy is going to be a guy that they'll take some shots deep with. He'll be the home run guy with his great speed. But he's also, I think the most impressive thing about him is he's a real wide receiver. He's not just a track guy out there. He can track the ball, something Mecole Hardman struggled with, something that Kadarius Toney couldn't do at all. Like, he tracks the ball well, but he also gets the offense. And there's a lot of option routes in what the Chiefs do. You're supposed to read the safety and be on the same page as Pat Mahomes and run away from the defensive backs. And Xavier Worthy's had a good chemistry with him and in training camp and in the limited amount of time we've seen him in the preseason games, to where he has a feel for where he's supposed to be. So I think there's some upside there. But the guy that I think, if you're looking for a starting wideout in your fantasy league that can put up 1,200 yards, maybe has 8 or 10 touchdowns, I think that's going to be Rashee Rice. I think it's we might start to see the evolution, the handing of the torch from Travis Kelce to Rashee Rice as the number one target for Mahomes.
Wow, that is interesting. Soren, in Baltimore, we spent a lot of the offseason talking about the addition of Derrick Henry and saying that in ways he might specifically be here because of the Chiefs. Like, he's here to try to make sure the Ravens can't get away from the run. Not that we're still thinking about that, Soren. Make sure they can't get away from the run to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline as much as possible. I flipped the question a little bit. Is that, if you're going to take down the Chiefs, not obviously just about tomorrow night, because even if you win tomorrow night, what the hell does that matter, because the playoffs are going to be more important. But is that the best way? If someone's going to beat the Chiefs, is it going to be because they kept the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, or does it require you to be able to run and gun and score points at will? Like, what would be the best method for trying to beat the Kansas City Chiefs?
Listen, I think it helps. I mean, I think every team has to be who they are, and that's what was, we were all amazed at how Baltimore got away from the run in the second half of that AFC Championship game. So, I mean, you have to be true to what you are and what you've built. I think it helps. There's no doubt. Keeping Patrick Mahomes away from the football is a good idea. But I think we've seen some teams try to do that, and they're not really built to run. And so they end up in a 3rd and 9, and they end up giving the ball right back, right? The Chiefs will eventually gang up. I mean, I think, look, when you get 4 or 4.5 or even 5 yards of carry, you don't go 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 all the way down the field and score a touchdown. You get like 14 and then 1 and 2. And the Chiefs are like most modern defenses. They count on the fact that they'll get a couple of stops and eventually force you into a longer down and distance, and they're built to stop the pass. And I think that's the way the game is won now. I think the biggest thing to beating Patrick Mahomes is not just holding the clock, but holding the clock at the end of halves, where I think the analytics haven't caught up to, Mahomes and the quarterback position and the Chiefs, and where the betting lines maybe are off on the Chiefs is 121 in a timeout is 3 points with a good chance at 7 with Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
Like, when he's going to throw, he can still throw and move it down the field. And so the NFL has gotten to where, with the clock running after, going out of bounds, and, you get sometimes just 4 possessions, maybe 5 possessions and a half. And one of those possessions is likely going to be, with less than 3 minutes left in a half of the game. And you have to be able to get points, because Patrick Mahomes will get points in those situations, particularly at the end of the game where the 4th down becomes something that he can use. So, when the Bengals had their run of beating him in the regular season and then beating him in the conference championship game, Joe Burrow could go down the field and get points in a minute and change. And he could, make those drives happen. And so, look, I think you got to have a good day defensively. I think it helps to run the ball, but I think you have to be able to match the points, and that means you have to be able to score when the Chiefs know you're going to throw. And there just aren't that many quarterbacks that have been able to, and that many offenses that have been able to do that.
Yep. Unfortunately, we are quite aware of that, man. We are quite aware of that. All right. Everything else going well down there? Like, the Royals are fascinating, man. Like, that came together pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, we have the Royals, although they're in the midst of their longest losing streak of the season, but still holding on to the last playoff spot. The Royals are maybe, I don't want to say barreling towards a playoff spot because the Tigers have woken up and they've got 9 easy games and the Royals only have 3 easy games left. But then we've got our 3 local college teams are all in the top 20 for the first time in history. K-State, KU, and Missouri are all in the top 20. That. So it's kind of an embarrassment of riches right now.
Yeah, it must be nice, bro. Although I say that, it's not like the Orioles are still very good, even though they dipped and they're back in first place in the AL East, right? Like everybody here was panicked, and all of a sudden we wake up on September 4th and they're in first place in the American League and had the best record in the American League. So, I mean, I guess we have nothing to complain about up here, although it would be nice if one time we didn't have to deal with Patrick Mahomes in our life. It would be really nice if that could be the case. At Soren Petro, that's how you follow him on Twitter. Yeah, you want to plug any of your podcasts?
Yeah, Red, Gold, and Bold. If there's any displaced Chiefs fans, we do that twice a week. Myself, Jeff Chenier from the NFL Network, and Sam McDowell, the sports columnist for the Star here. And then I do one called Coffin Corner for displaced Royals fans. We do that every Sunday. Myself and Rainey Gisele, who's one of the co-founders of Baseball Perspective.
Yeah, I like Rainey.
If you're a fish out of water, Coffin Corner and Red, Gold, and Bold. Check it out when you get some time.
Always appreciate you, brother. Thanks for taking the time for us this morning, man. Enjoy it tomorrow night, all right?
You're the man, Glenn. Have a great night.
It's Soren Petro with us here on GCR as we get ready for I want to be excited about tomorrow because it is the kickoff of the NFL season. But it really almost has like a Groundhog Day sense to it. Like, we're doing this again, huh? That son of a bitch is still there, huh? God damn it. Bullish on Rashee Rice. Maybe should have pulled the trigger on Rashee Rice a little bit earlier.
Got him in one league.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I felt good about that.
Joe Serpico, you're down to like your last bite of spaghetti.
Really holding out on it, too.
Yeah, it looks good, man. Looks like you really enjoyed your breakfast today.
The slop of...
I believe they call it the breakfast of champions.
Well...
is what they...
the reason he's eating because he wasn't a champion.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. It is. It just looks like slop at this point. All right, your thoughts on Griffin's team that he put together this morning.
Let's see what we got here. Well, the biggest mistake...
You're scared to death.
Josh Allen was not my number 1 quarterback this year, so...
Who was your number 1 quarterback?
I
Lamar?
had Jalen Hurts, and then I had Lamar. Then I had Josh Allen. That was those 3 in that order.
Is that because of his lack of wide receivers?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
And it's hard to imagine him finishing as QB1 again. He's done it the past 2 years, and it's kind of hard to... It's kind of the same predicament that you're in with Christian McCaffrey right now, too. A lot of people are trying to talk themselves out of him being number 1.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Because he's done it 2 years in a row. I kind of get that philosophy, but it's kind of, I don't know. It was hard for me to take Christian McCaffrey out of number 1.
So if in this Superflex league, then who would you take 1-1?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Okay.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Just because I think that offense this year. Now, I'm a little bit biased, obviously, as an Eagles fan, but I do think that offense this year, with all the addition of Saquon, new offense.
Because it feels like it should be indefensible.
Yeah,
yes.
It's literally That's pretty much what it should be. He's always going to get those push touchdowns. Granted, Saquon might take a couple of those away, but I just think that offense this year is going to be. I would want to have the entire team in fantasy. Let's put it that way.
Okay, but there also goes back to that sort of mouth to feed conversation that we talked about before. Like, not everyone can be. Somebody's going to have to be on the odd. Like, I am not as high on Devontae Smith, for example, this year. Like, he feels to me like the guy that is hurt by the addition of Saquon Barkley.
Oh, I can agree with that. You know,
okay.
There'll be more emphasis on the run this year with Saquon being there. I could totally agree with that. But we saw last year with the Rams. You know, they had a top 5 receiver, they had a top 5 running back. Now the quarterback, Stafford doesn't give you what you get from Hurts as a runner. But that's why I can kind of see all 3 of those guys, especially your top 3 with your Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Saquon. I could easily see all of them finishing. To be honest, see them finishing at the top of the position overall.
All right. Anything else on Griffin's team?
Griffin's team, let's see. He's really big on some Dolphins. I could see that right now. The Jameson Williams pick, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be really well this year. I'm big on the Lions as well. That's another team where I think you might get, minimum Amon-Ra St. Brown, who you have, is going to be a top 5 receiver. I say that. I think Jamison Williams has potential to be top 25 receiver this year just because of the big play threat he is. Jared Goff is a guy I was kind of hoping to get as my second quarterback, but he went a lot higher than he went in the third round.
KZ got him in the third.
That was a little bit crazy to me. I thought maybe he'd be there for rounds 4 or 5, but none of us knew what the heck we were doing when walking in the door today. And then I like the Jackson Smith and Jigba. We've talked about what I think about Taysom Hill as a late round flyer.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the ultimate boomer bust player in fantasy. Yeah, you'll get some weeks where he gives you 2.1 points, but then you'll get weeks from him where you might get 30. That's what I think I love about Taysom Hill. And I think with the running back situation
but they're probably going to be the weeks that you don't have him in your lineup.
Of course, that's how it always seems to be.
That's the way it goes.
I got to a point where I was playing him like every week last year. And I made the playoffs. I didn't make it much further, but I did make the playoffs.
But he is one of those guys. He's the ultimate boomer bust guy, especially a tight end, just because of what he does. He offers. Now, if he's just a quarterback in your league, I don't necessarily want him then. But if he has that tight end eligibility, that's a guy, especially as late as you took him. What's that, round 13? I like that pick there. And then even the Kamani Vidal one. Say the other two don't work out, the two former Ravens backs. This is the guy they drafted who they would hope you would think would fit their system. So, if Vidal is the guy next man up, that could be a late round steal for you too.
All right, very good.
Sounds like I'm winning the league. So
I don't think so.
I like that.
I don't think that's going to be the reality. I don't think that's going to be the case. All right, when we come back in, we will go over some round from week 1 advice. Just some, you drafted all these players. Who do you start now? We'll go over some week 1 advice. If you do have a question, hit me up at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, and I will pose it to Joe Serpico, and then we'll play Would You Rather Wednesday. That's on the way. Joe Serpico's here. He's almost finished his delicious spaghetti and ranch that he's said is so good it's going on the menu. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
Hey, Baltimore, it's number 10, Arthur Millette, and I'm hoping you'll slot us in all season long for the Arthur Millette Show. We'll be traveling around the region all season, giving you the chance to get to know me and my teammates. There will be some football talk and a lot more. You can watch this show live on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages and listen every Friday night on 105.7 The Fan. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/Millette. The Arthur Millette Show, the only show in town that's a work of art.
The next Arthur Millette Show is Tuesday, September 10th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. It's brought to you by Easy Pass and HelpMyGamblingProblem.org.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Frederick Keys Baseball is back. With 30 more home games beginning on July 2nd, the Keys are excited to welcome you back to Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium. We want to see you there. Countless promotions will be on display every game, with it ranging from Tap House Tuesdays to Firework Fridays and everything in between. For more information or to buy tickets, call 301-815-9939 or visit frederickkeys.com today.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. We'll get to that in 1 second. Joe Serpico is here. You just about polished up that off, huh?
Yep.
He seems depressed now. He seems so sad.
I don't know how my stomach is going to take this the rest of the day. I think that's what I'm more worried about.
Yeah, it could be that could be rough. But you are a man of your word. You did come in here and you did eat your spaghetti and ranch, your Tyus Bowser spaghetti, as you said you would. And
just means this year I got to beat you, so you're on the receiving end of the
remember, by the way, he chooses to do that. Like, that's the way he wants his spaghetti to be served.
You'll never see that on an Italian menu ever. There's already certain things that we put on an Italian menu that are not Italian.
Yeah,
that's definitely not.
No,
one
you're
of
not.
them
that's
right
not. You sure?
Yeah,
you
that
sure
and
that's
Alfredo
not?
you can throw out the
on
window.
the list. All right. Hey, Project Game Day returns tomorrow night. Immediately following Ravens Chiefs, flip over to PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day. Myself, Rita, Femi Ayambadejo, KZ, I think will still allow to be a part of it, despite the chicanery that he pulled today. Nonsense. I imagine Josh and Andrew, the whole crew, come hang out with us as we rehash whatever happens in Kansas City tomorrow night to open the season. PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day. We kick it all off tomorrow night. All right, let me run a few by you from Jeff. Jeff says, I actually have this scenario in Jared Goff or Jaden Daniels.
Both. No, if I got to pick one over the other, Jaden Daniels because he offers as a
but I know
rusher.
I don't like just for week one.
Oh, I've put it in my sleepers, picks, and busts article that was out yesterday that I believe that Jaden Daniels is going to finish as a top 5 quarterback this week.
Okay. Wow. I'm like, there's a part of me that wants to be like, let him prove it before you commit to it. Like, let him show that he can actually do it.
Dive in. He's the one rookie. Well, other than the 2 receivers, he's the one rookie that I'm willing to start right away and feel confident about it.
Who's the other?
The 2 receivers, Neighbors and
okay, got it. Sorry. Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, and Jaden Daniels are the 3 rookies that you're willing to start in week 1.
Correct.
No matter what.
Caleb Williams is the one I'm holding out a week or so just to see, just because he doesn't offer the same value as a rusher. Now he's not, immobile, but I'd much rather have Daniels, who, I mean, let's put it, he's the second coming of Lamar Jackson.
I'm not ready to say that yet. I am not ready to say those words. That is nearly blasphemous, my friend.
Darn it! You added Daniel Jones already?
Yeah.
You guys are fighting over Daniel Jones?
Yeah, this shows you how stupid this
Yeah.
league is. This is the dumbest league ever. Well, I moved Nick Chubb to IR, so I had a roster spot available. Would you settle down over there?
No.
Tony, Goff or Justin Herbert?
Say Goff or Justin Herbert?
Yes.
Goff.
All right.
With the injury to Herbert, it's hard to tell just how severe that is.
Well, I also don't know what to make of Herbert in that offense either, right? Like,
I mean, we know they're going to be focusing on a run.
I don't even know if I want to own her. Like, okay, so there was a league that I was in where I was doing the draft as I was doing my radio show last night, and I missed a pick, and it auto-drafted me Herbert, and I'm like, I don't even know if I want to have Herbert versus, say, Matt Stafford.
I'd rather have Stafford.
Yeah, I think that's where I am too. Like, Herbert in that offense just does not do anything for me whatsoever. Dave wants to know Cooper Kupp or Brandon Ayuk. Wow, how deep are your wide receivers, Dave? Jesus Christ!
I must have gone back to back with those 2.
Holy hell!
Cooper Kupp for me. I've
yeah, you're very bullish about Cooper Kupp.
I'm very bullish on Cooper Kupp this year. Like I said, I'm not as high on Puka Nacua at all. If you're asking me between Nacua and Ayuk, I'm saying Ayuk.
Puka Nacua or Ayuk. You're going Ayuk.
Yes.
Wow, you are really down on Puka Nacua.
Yes, I think that offense is going to roll through Cooper Kupp again this year. That's everything I've heard out of the Rams camp. And we're only, 2-3 years removed from him having the Triple Crown. Let's face it, he is the guy to own there. If it wasn't for injury, it was all him last year, if you ask me. So.
Steve wants to know, in a flex, Terry McLaurin or Tony Pollard or DeAndre Hopkins? Terry McLaurin, Tony Pollard, or DeAndre Hopkins?
Well, we don't know if is D-Hop suiting up in week 1?
I don't. You would have to tell me. You're the fantasy guy. What are you asking me for?
I'm not sure if he's going to be available week 1. Of those 3, McLaurin, just because, another situation where who's the second receiver in Washington right now?
That's fair. And then, God, really, who is the second wide receiver in Washington right now?
They got Luke McCaffrey. I know they just signed. Who did they just sign the other day? Noah Brown. They might slide in as the third guy, but then it's like I couldn't even tell you who the real
is
number 2 is.
De'Ami Brown still there?
Yes, he's still there. But ever since the trade of Jahan Dotson, it's just like who else there is going to catch the ball other than McLaurin? Ryan,
a lot of Jared Goff questions. Tua or Jared Goff?
Jared Goff. I'm high on Jared Goff this year as well. Last year Tua was my guy. This year it's Jared Goff.
Also, I would think that the Rams still have some defensive questions, although. I don't know. I really like Miami against Jacksonville this week. I really do. I like that's.
See, I like the other way around.
Really?
I like the Jaguars are my team that I think actually wins the AFC South.
Oh, look at you! All right, Griffin, you had one that you wanted to get in.
It was Pollard or Chase Brown.
Ooh, that one's tough. I'm gonna go with Pollard, at least for week 1. I think the long-term play might be Chase Brown, but at least for week 1, I'm going to go Pollard. Just because.
Let the Bengals situation sort itself out before you. Yeah.
The Bengals do play New England week 1. I don't know if that changes.
Yeah, but you don't know what the split is. But you don't know what the split is going to be in the backfield. Whereas you know who the guy is in Tennessee.
Exactly.
At least we think we know who the guy is.
James Cook or Rashee Rice.
Ooh, that's a good one because I'm very big on both of those guys this year. I'm assuming this is a flex spot.
Yes.
That's tough. Give me James Cook.
Okay.
Just because you know he's going to get at least hopefully 15 to 20 touches as opposed to Rashee Rice. I think the Ravens will have some things in store for him tomorrow.
Okay. And then Jeb on YouTube wants to know if he should trade Puka or if you would trade Puka for Jamar Chase.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I need to know what else is in that trade because nobody's making that trade straight up. I would think, unless even if it's a dynasty league, I'm taking Chase all day. That's not even a question.
I guess that people are scared about the Jamar Chase thing right now. I refuse to believe that Jamar Chase isn't on the field.
Even if
Sunday.
he misses one game, he's missed games the past couple of years anyways, and he's still finished as a top 5. And then when he is on the field, he's always one of the best for per game scoring purposes. He may not have, I can't remember if he finished as a top 10 receiver last year because of injuries, but when he is on the field, he seems like he's a no-brainer, get you 20 points every week.
All right, if you didn't get your question in, at Joe Serp on Twitter is the way to do it. And, of course, you can go to PressBoxOnline.com. You got rankings. You got Start 'em, Sit 'em up there that you can find everything. PressBoxOnline.com. And Joe, as always, is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Everything that we do fantasy-wise. Joe will be joining us on Tuesdays all season long in order to preview Waiver Wire Wednesday and tell you who it is that you should be picking up off the waiver wire. Before you get out of here, let's play a little Would You Rather Wednesday. Would You Rather Wednesday is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. Somebody's getting a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating in Would You Rather Wednesday. This is a Ravens kickoff-themed version of Would You Rather Wednesday. So for some of these, Joe, you'll have to pretend like you care deeply about the Baltimore Ravens.
They're my number 2 team.
All right. In order to participate, pretend like they're your number 1, if you don't mind. All right. Number 1, Would You Rather? A football wizard has seen the future and tells you that the AFC Championship game this year will be Ravens at Chiefs. With that in mind, would you rather the Ravens lose an absolute thriller tomorrow night and use it as inspiration for the rest of the year leading into the AFC Championship game, or they win tomorrow night by 2 touchdowns, potentially becoming Kansas City's inspiration for the rest of the season?
I think that's a no-brainer. I think you obviously, if you got to choose between the two, you lose tomorrow, you win the championship.
But I'm not telling you you're going to win the championship game.
Well,
you don't get that result. I'm saying
we like the If those are my two options, I'd rather be the team that loses this game, uses that as the motivation for the championship game.
All right.
I mean, that's probably, I think, the right answer. But it is,
But that involves you signing up for a loss.
Exactly. Because it was like when the Ravens beat the 49ers on Christmas night, and it was like, it wasn't even close. Like, it wasn't even a game.
It was a thrashing.
Yeah. And then it was like, if that had been the Super Bowl matchup, it was like, I mean, do you really feel like I guess the 49ers would have
the 49ers would have been the favorite. They would have been the
like,
favorites going into the Super Bowl if Ben Ravens 49ers.
I guess I want to win tomorrow night. I'm going to say these guys are professionals.
This is the problem I had because a lot of people bring that up. Like, why would you ever sign up for a loss? Well, it doesn't really matter because you're in the AFC Championship game. Like, the loss didn't hurt you because you're in the AFC Championship game. So it's kind of irrelevant what the result of that game was. The best argument that I've got from people is that, like, you just want the confidence that comes with that, like the belief that you that
you can win in Kansas City.
Win in Kansas City.
So I want that too.
So, like, that's a fair argument for it, but I kind of do fall back to the other thing where it's like, what are the likelihood that you're gonna
beat the Chiefs twice
and beat in a game by a couple of touchdowns, and then do it again?
Well, all you got to do is win by 1 next time.
That's true. It doesn't. You only have to win by 1 point. Frankly, you do it the next time.
If you could tell me Xavier Worthy's gonna have a big game, I'll.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then you're signing up for it. Yeah. Number 2, are you starting him?
I mean, in this league, yeah.
Oh, right, because you had to draft 7 quarterbacks in the first 9 rounds, so that's what you were left with.
Should I start Chase Brown or Xavier Worthy?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Or Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams.
Over Worthy.
Over both of those guys for sure.
Okay.
And we know what his role is. Even Worthy, I mean, going out of the gate, he might get that one deep ball, and that might be it for him.
Or should I start Taysom Hill?
Now you're really thinking about it too much. That's what we call it, Tinkerbell. Don't overthink a bit.
Yeah.
Just put somebody in there and let it ride.
You have to watch an alternate broadcast of tomorrow night's game. I don't want to make this abundantly clear because people have already tried it. You can't turn the sound off. You have to watch from start to finish one of these 2 alternate broadcasts that are hypothetically happening for tomorrow night's game. The first one would be a Taylor Swift-centric broadcast where the broadcasters for the game are making lyrical references on every play and every time there is not action on the field.
So Ian Eagles just called the game.
No, stop it. They are cutting back to a live shot of Taylor Swift watching the game. It's Taylor Swift right up until the snap of the ball, and then as soon as the play is over, it's right back to looking at Taylor Swift. That is option number 1. The other alternate broadcast that would be available for tomorrow night would be with running commentary from the Paul brothers and the Hawk Tua girl. Those are your commentators in the other broadcast.
When you say the Paul brothers, you mean Logan and Jake?
Yes, correct.
Jesus, and the Hawk
Not Tommy Paul and his brother.
No, not correct.
Give me the latter, just because I think that's just. I mean, that could be wild to watch.
No, it couldn't. No, it couldn't. It would be hell to watch.
I want to hear.
It would be hell to watch.
BS they come up with between that. I wouldn't. As much as I'm not a Taylor Swift hater by any means, but I couldn't.
You better make sure you say that before there are pitchforks out the door here.
I'll just mute the Paul brothers.
You shut the F up, Griffin.
I want to watch the game, so
you cannot mute the broadcast. I said it to start it.
So they're not showing. So the Swift broadcast isn't showing replays or anything.
No, it's just the play happens and then right back to Taylor Swift until the next play.
Now I got to root for Taylor Swift to be sad too the whole time I'm watching.
Well, she's good at that.
I mean, I guess I would hope I can.
Did you see
I think it would become white noise, the Pauls and Hawk Tua, so I guess I'll go with that one.
Yeah,
I would get a real-ish broadcast.
The of the 2, which would be the more pleasant broadcast? I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually think it would be the Taylor Swift broadcast.
I think so too.
But for like the fact that, as you point out, like you want to watch replays, you want to see a different angle, something like that, and even if they're talking over it like idiots, you probably would have to choose the other one. But God,
they're in the prime hydration red zone.
Oh God, hell, just pure hell. And number 3, you can go to every home game this season. You're going to every home game for this season for free. By the way, I want to make it abundantly clear, you have to do it. It's just which way you're doing it.
I'm out.
In scenario number 1, you are sitting in the upper deck next to your drunkest uncle.
That's me.
In scenario number 2, you are sitting in those new field seats that they have at M&T Bank Stadium,
For free?
which are really close, but appear to have like no actual view of the game.
But they're really free.
They are really. It's free either way. Everything's free. You have to go to all the games. Then you're just standing. You're staring at the backs of players from those field seats.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the upper level just so I can see the action. What's the point of being on that bottom part and you can't see anything? You're looking at the guys' butts. No thanks.
Well, now wait a second. Now there might be some nice butts.
I'm good on that, guys.
I think
because then you're just literally looking at the Tron the whole time to actually see the action of the game. And you might as well be home at that point.
I understand.
I think there'd be benefit to both. I think you're up there with the people, and really enjoying viewing the game how a fan is supposed to, up there in section 500 row Z or whatever however the rows are labeled now. I forget what they are.
I
guess it'd be row ZZ. I think that's.
I cannot help you. I cannot bail you out.
But I think it'd be really cool to be right down on the field too.
I don't think it would be.
I mean, Tylan Wallace is scoring that touchdown right in front. He's running right up to me.
Right, except that he scored it in the other end zone.
Are you sure? I thought it was that end zone.
Yeah, you don't know because there's field seats all over the field, so you don't know which end zone it would be. I'm telling you.
Well, someone's going to score a touchdown right
maybe
in front of me and high-five me. So
maybe not.
Probably.
You're in the second row.
The chances are
you're in the second. Actually,
well,
you'd rather be in the second row because then you might have a tenth.
And then when they're in my end zone, then I stand up.
I'm sitting in the upper deck. Like I don't ever want to go to a football game.
I don't think there's a wrong answer
on
here.
It. No, somebody else tried saying that to me too. Like
free Ravens games.
Yeah, dude. These are not. This is why I don't go to games anymore. This is why I'm an old man in this way. Like I'm out. I'm good. No, thank you.
Are you providing this for me?
No, not a chance in hell. Not happening, pal. But good luck.
Are these 50-yard line the row 500 or?
Shut up. You
are they?
I don't know what they are.
If it's 50-yard line, I guess I'll go that one.
It's the 35-yard. It's the 38-yard line.
That's close enough. Yeah, that's
close enough. What's the cutoff for you?
If I was in the end zone, then I would say definitely that I would rather be lower.
But that's where the all 22 film comes from.
I was going to say those are my favorite seats sitting in the end.
I prefer.
That's where the coaches think you're supposed to watch the game from.
From the end zone?
Yes, that's where you ever watched all 22 film?
I prefer yes, but
that's where it comes from.
If I have a choice between the 50-yard line and the end zone,
I understand because you're used to watching it on TV. But the coaches would tell you that if you really want to watch football, you're supposed to watch it from the end zone.
No, I can't see you when it's on the opposite side. It's not like I have a camera.
Well, you're not going to see anything from the field seats, Griffin.
I will see when they're down, when they're right there, and then I'm high-fiving Mark Andrews every touchdown he scores.
You're so convinced.
Hope so.
It's going to be so. It's gonna be so awkward when Mark Andrews purposely avoids you. Like
he's gonna run by.
I heard about this guy. I heard about him. I don't want. He's gonna go try to sell my sweat on eBay afterwards. I don't want to be a part of that.
How much do you think I could get for that?
Shut up. All right. Get your answers in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. Someone is going to win a $25 gift card to Glory Days Grill just for participating in Would You Rather Wednesday. Joe Serpico, you're a good man. You paid your debt. You're a gentleman and a scholar.
It's not delicious by any means.
What do you mean? It looked like you were enjoying it.
We'll take a picture of what this looks like afterwards. Look at this. This is disgusting looking right now.
It does not look pleasant. It does not look even remotely pleasant whatsoever. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out today.
Absolutely.
We'll be talking to you on Tuesdays throughout the
Forward
season, getting you ready for Waiver Wire Wednesday. It's all brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, and we can't wait to be doing it all season long.
Likewise.
All right. When we come, and hopefully next year we have somebody takes over this nonsense. We put
we need a commissioner who doesn't.
Old Man Zales is going to have to.
Last second switches that he did.
We might have to Biden Old Man Zales. We might have to.
Give him the boot.
Yeah, go ahead and find a new.
Sounds like you're offering your services for that.
I thought Griffin said he would take care of things. You know what? I don't trust him as commissioner either. It's back to you, Joe. Sorry, you've defaulted. You're going to have to run the league. All right, when we come back in, can we take a break?
Yes,
I don't know. Grab a break, and then Kevin Brown is going to join us. Talk some birds with Kevin Brown next. Glenn Clark Radio.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at BaltimoreGolfAcademy.com.
Frederick Keys Baseball is back. With 30 more home games beginning on July 2nd, the Keys are excited to welcome you back to Nimio Field at Harry Grove Stadium. We want to see you there. Countless promotions will be on display every game, with it ranging from Tap House Tuesdays to Firework Fridays and everything in between. For more information or to buy tickets, call 301-815-9939 or visit frederickkeys.com today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Hagerstown, Maryland, a snapshot of American history that dates back centuries. Today, the roots of the city expand with another historical moment, the grand opening of Meredith Park, Hagerstown's new event stadium and home to the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Experience the energy, culture, and adventure. Plan your getaway today at America's newest and most innovative ballpark. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland. Visit Hagerstown.com.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with two sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at costasinn.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR. Don't forget, all season long, you can find every score from every high school competition, every sport all across the state by going to countysports.zone. It's proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. The StatCast broadcast last night was a lot of fun with Ben and Alex Fast, and our next guest. He, of course, is the play-by-play voice of the Baltimore Orioles. It's a pleasure to welcome back to the program Kevin Brown, who is with us here on GCR. KB, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Everything is good, man. All right, so I we'll talk, obviously, Oasis with you, because I know that's all you really want to talk about right now. But before we do that, I'm going to squeeze in some baseball.
God, thank you. Somebody understands.
Yeah, dude, I get it. Like, it's not, I don't care like you care, but I care, right? Like, it does matter.
It's probably good. It's probably for the best that you don't care like I care.
Maybe unhealthy.
It's probably for the best for everybody's health that they don't care as much as they care about this ridiculous band.
So what I want to know is, and I made this comparison earlier. I've done a lot of different types of play-by-play in my life. I've done, among other things, and we all done a ton of high school football. And every now and then you go to a game and you don't realize that one of the teams involved is essentially Bishop Sycamore, right? Like you get there and you're like, oh,
yeah,
no. Like
yeah.
I didn't realize that's what I was signing myself up for. I realize that this is not high school football that we're talking about. This is Major League Baseball. But is there any moment when you're watching the Chicago White Sox where it almost becomes uncomfortable for you, where you're just like, I don't want to keep harping on how bad they are because it almost feels like unsportsmanlike to talk about it.
Honestly, a little bit. I feel a little bit like I'm piling on.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to do that. I just, my role in this job is to try to give perspective on things, right? Or at least one of my roles. And the perspective here is that this is literally going to be the worst major league team in the 1900s or 2000s, right? It's going to be the worst major league team since literally the 1890s. So the modern era of baseball. They are bad. It's never been this bad. I've seen some people say, hey, don't forget, don't be too mean. The Orioles were here. Well, the Orioles had some tough years, no doubt, and they've done an amazing job getting out of it. But no, the Orioles were never here. No one's been here. This is literally uncharted territory. Unless they go 12-9, they're going to have the most losses in modern Major League history. Do you think they're going to go 12-9? I don't know that they could win 12 games if they played another 80 right now.
I don't know how.
I just want people to get some perspective. We are truly watching history, and in a little bit of an uncomfortable way, but it's kind of amazing all the same. You could be a baseball fan who's 100 years old, and you're seeing something you've never seen before.
Yeah, amazing is a word. It's certainly one of the ways that we could describe it. I swear, like when you watch them, you find yourself saying, I don't know how they won 30 games. Like it's a miracle.
It's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
And they beat the Yankees.
Bless them.
Who knows? Maybe this division will come down to the White Sox beating the Yankees once. And look, the Orioles are 6-0. The games back in May were a lot tighter. They had to come back a couple of times to win some games there. This is different. I mean, obviously this looks like a team that is well aware of its standing. They've long been eliminated. They've got an interim manager. You're searching for promise, because when you're at what is going to be the start of a rebuild, you hope, if you're the White Sox, you find your Cedric Mullins, your Anthony Santander, your Austin Hayes, your Dean Kramer, your Keegan Aiken. The Orioles out of this rebuild got some great pieces and great parts. And I'm not sure who those guys are going to be for the White Sox, but they're going to keep looking.
I think Garrett Crochet will be part of it, but yeah, it's a very small list. And obviously we got to be careful because the Orioles still do have to play them again tonight, as you know. So this could all sound very silly if tomorrow morning we're talking about a 6-4 White Sox win or something like that.
Yeah, you never know.
Kevin, the way to appropriately talk about everything that's been on the table, and we as talk show hosts, where we have more leeway, have struggled with it. You obviously have to be very matter of fact about it. It has been a weird stretch for the Orioles, where we know the injuries have been a significant part of the story. At the same time, particularly like with the offense, it's not all been about the injuries. It's been about guys struggling. They are still here on September 4th, in first place in the American League East. They still do have as good a chance as anyone of winning a World Series. But I think there's been right to feel an uneasiness about how they've played, and I don't know how we say all of that in one way and make it sound intelligent.
I think you're pretty much right on it. I mean, a baseball season is so long, and we forget that the games in April and May count the same. And I'm happy that Brandon Hyde hasn't forgotten that, because he pushes the bullpen early in the season. And there are times he makes a move and, some people will think, wow, he's being really aggressive there. Is he being too aggressive for April, for May? I think the answer is no, because the Orioles have been basically a 500 team for 3 months, and they are still the best team in the American League by record, 81-59. They passed the Yankees again yesterday. The Guardians are right there. They're 80-59 too. Look, the injuries are definitely a big part of it, but you're right. Offensively, it's been a tough couple of months after what was probably an April and May where this team, played above its skis, right?
Yep.
And ultimately you look at Gunnar Henderson's got an 895 OPS. That seems about right. Ryan O'Hearn's got a 782 OPS. That seems about right. Maybe those guys were a little hotter than they were going to be consistently early in the year. They were a little colder than they were going to be in August. I will say one thing is that there's not a degree of panic among players, and there really wasn't going through this tough stretch, which hopefully they're breaking out of with 3 wins in a row now and 4 out of 5. But they understand, because so much of this team is the same team we saw last year. They understand that October really matters. And as great as last year was, the team kind of hit a rut the last couple of games of the year and then carried over into the postseason, and they really didn't hit well. So there's not a degree of panic, maybe the same way there is among fans, because these guys know there's still a month to get it right. And if they get it right by the end of the month, everybody's going to forget about those tough 3 months. I mean, I think pretty much every World Series winning team has difficult stretches. And people have said to me over the last few months, can this team win it all? Are they struggling too much? And I say, look at Arizona. Right? The Diamondbacks were barely a 500 team last year and got on and made the World Series. So that is the nature of the beast. It's the joy and also the pain of baseball that nothing matters after 162. And this Orioles team is certainly better than that Arizona team. They might even be better than the Texas team that won the World Series last year. So I will say that even though people get worried for a tough couple of months, there is no degree of panic. There's no change in the mood. There's no change in the clubhouse. Like, these guys are still loose and locked in. And I think as the schedule's easing this September, I feel pretty optimistic about this team because it is not an excuse, but a reality. They had a tougher schedule the last couple of months, and that probably helped, grow some of the deficiencies. And it's a reality that they're going to have an easier schedule this month. So we'll see. I certainly like the approach. I like the patience they've shown at the plate as much as anything the last few games. The hits are one thing, but you have to be a little more patient. And I think this team is learning to be patient and not just maybe overswing the way they were doing to try to press to get out of a tough stretch in July and August.
He's Kevin Brown. He's with us here on GCR. So you're telling me, Kevin, that despite all of the reports from the internet that I have seen, the vibes aren't a disaster for this baseball team? You're telling me that the vibes are okay?
That's correct. Yes, I am. I'm happy to push back on quote the internet unquote.
You're gonna be. You can be our official vibes reporter moving forward. By the way, I feel like that's actually I would like that job if somebody is willing to give it to me. Just reporting on vibes. I would love.
The vibes guy. I mean, I'm in the clubhouse and I'm at batting practice and I'm traveling around. It's kind of amazing. The vibes, at times you go, well, they should be lower. They're struggling, but these guys, as young as they are so polished and so professional that they don't seem to get down. And I genuinely believe, but I don't think I'm just being overly optimistic. I genuinely believe this is going to be a strong month, and they're going to meet a lighter schedule with some really good play. I mean, you can see it in the at-bats of late. You can see guys that are close to breaking out. Anthony Santander's been on base 7 times in this series. O'Hearn 6. Mullen's been on 5 times. Kauser's been on 6 times. Henderson 5. So again, I know it's the White Sox, but you do need a series like this sometimes to get right and to get your confidence up. Especially after the Astros and the Dodgers back to back.
Yep, you hope that it carries over, and you got to play the teams that are on the schedule, and everybody else has gotten to play the White Sox. You don't apologize for the fact that you're playing the team that everybody else has played.
No.
Kevin, I want to present this to you a certain way because you watch games without there having to be a box on the screen when you're watching, at least the first time. I wonder which of these statements to you is closer to the truth. Statement A would be that the white box on the screen has actually hurt the way that we watch baseball because we believe it to be Bible when it's not actually Bible. Or B, no, there's really a genuine ball strikes problem that baseball has to deal with moving forward, and they can't keep dragging their feet on it. They've got to put something in place next season.
I think it's maybe a little of column A, a little of column B, honestly. My guess is, and this is obviously just a guess, my guess is that home plate umpires now are infinitely better than home plate umpires throughout most of the history in baseball. I don't think if you went back to 1947 and watched a game, you'd go, wow, these guys nailed every call. And if they did, maybe it's because they weren't seeing pitches that have 20 inches of drop at 95 miles per hour that are impossible for the human eye to follow. I think umpires are really, really good. And it's literally a harder job than it's ever been because of the movement and velocity. We've never in the history of baseball had pitches that move this much and this late, and pitches that are thrown this hard. And I think the younger umpires, like the ones who have come through minor league system fairly recently, the ones that are more trained, have had to deal with the ABS system in the minors, I think those umpires are really good. I think the ones that struggle, understandably, are the umpires that have been in the game for a long time and have had trouble adapting to the strike zone, as it's called now, to constant video review. Like Hunter Wendelstedt missed some pitches pretty badly last night, and I understand why Grady Sizemore and Andrew Benintendi were ejected. And, that shouldn't be okay. Those were some bad misses. At the same time, you're right in that with high definition cameras, high definition TV, with the strike zone box on the screen, it's easier to look bad. And can you imagine if Twitter and the strike zone box were around in 1997 when Eric Gregg was working the Livan Hernandez game against the Braves, when Livan Hernandez was throwing pitches a foot outside and getting strikeout calls? It would have been
Greg Maddux manipulated. Greg Maddux manipulated umpire strike zones.
For sure.
Knew exactly where the strike zone was.
Yeah, I think you call it out the way you call out a bad play or a bad pitch. I don't think it is a disaster. And I don't think people in the game think it's a disaster. I don't. I think the way this is going to go is in a couple of years we'll get a challenge system. We were on a call with Major League Baseball and some of their operational folks recently, Morgan Sword, who's one of the folks who's most implemented with rule changes and pace of play initiatives in baseball. Incredibly bright guy. He's talked about this a little bit, but basically what he told us was we're not going to see the full ABS in the minor leagues anymore. Right? They're going to go to the challenge system in the minor leagues, which for folks who don't know, there is an automated ball strike system. Major League Baseball is still tweaking where the strike zone should be on every batter, how it should look. And in certain leagues, batters, pitchers, and catchers have the ability to challenge a call. Now, pitch gets called a ball or strike, immediately the aggrieved party challenges, and within seconds, the ABS tells you, was it a ball or a strike? And it sounds like that, to me, is the future.
Yep.
And that way, the truly egregious calls, you can change. Now, what's interesting to me is how many you'll get. Because right now, the number's set at 2. Yeah. It was down from 3 to 2. And if you get your challenge right, you keep it. So I think it becomes fascinating strategy. And I think that's a good way to alleviate the terrible misses, right? Like if it's a close pitch and the umpire's calling the zone a little bit low all day, it's consistent. If it's 6 inches outside and it's called a strike, that's the stuff we need to take out of the game. So I don't think it's a huge deal because I do think umpire accuracy is incredible. I don't think any group of people in the world could do it better. I know they're extensively reviewed and trained. But yeah, I think this is a small tweak to the challenge system that will make the game better.
Just another couple of minutes here with Kevin Brown. Kevin, you did obviously not just the StatCast broadcast last night, but you've been doing these for ESPN for a while. I wonder, as a broadcaster, what is the part, what particular data point has getting to know it and learning it better, what do you feel like has improved you most as a broadcaster, as a baseball fan, has genuinely made you more knowledgeable or understand the game better?
Well, that's a great question. The first thing that jumps to mind is one of the things we did in the ESPN2 StatCast shows we did. We had a few of these alternate broadcasts on Sunday Night Baseball, which is the movement of a pitch compared to average. So it's maybe a little heady, but I think understanding it can deepen your appreciation of why certain pitchers succeed. So if a typical slider thrown at 95 miles per hour, let's say it drops 6 inches and it moves side to side 18 inches. Okay, and then maybe somebody has a really effective slider that only drops 2 inches and moves 14 inches. Now, you might think, well, less movement is bad. Not necessarily, because think about how quickly hitters have to react to a certain pitch, right? And then think about a slider at this velocity that actually moves quite a bit less. Your eye thinks it's going to move more. Your instincts, everything you've done in your baseball life thinks that pitch is going to move a certain way. If it moves a lot more, we get why that's tough. If it moves a lot less, that's a different kind of tough. So I think pitch movement is something I'm really getting into and understanding why that makes certain pitchers tough. And Ben told a great story last night about Mike Messina. Mike would get 2-0 and throw a 94-mile-per-hour fastball down the middle, get a swing and a miss. And he and Rick Sutcliffe would look at each other and go, how the hell did he do that? We throw it 94 down the middle, it gets hit 410 feet. So it was because of the way that Messina's ball moved and because of the way that a hitter perceived it would move. So, again, maybe a little heavy, but that gives me a really good understanding of pitchers because everybody throws hard now. And so trying to understand why one guy who throws 95 gets hit, while one guy who throws 95 doesn't, I think is a fun challenge. And that has deepened my appreciation for that. I also love exit velocity. I love seeing how hard a ball is hit. I love the idea of expected statistics because it's a way to break through the noise, right? And if a hitter's in a slump, you can look and say, well, actually, based on the way he's hitting the ball, all these balls should have been hits. It's not his fault. There happened to be a defender make a leaping catch, or the ball just didn't go in the right direction or something. So I think it's a good way to kind of cut through the noise and see whose performances are going to be authentic and then whose are not.
That's fair. The stuff about the movement of the ball. That's going to be. I'm going to be obsessed with it. I'm going to spend a lot of time thinking about that now.
I know it's a little rabbit hole-y.
Shoosh. All right. So obviously the big question is, where is your confidence level that it's definitely happening, and that there won't be another fight come next April that ruins this whole thing just when you are getting your joy back in your life?
My confidence level, and this is obviously the Oasis reunion, is 100%.
Okay.
It's going to happen. 100%.
Wow.
It's all definitely no maybe. Here's the thing. There's way too much money at stake.
Okay, but it's not like this is the first time that there would have ever been money at stake.
For sure. But now that they've said yes, now that they've sold the tickets, now that they've made the money, it's going to happen. For all I know, Liam and Noel may not be in the same room until they get on stage in Cardiff on July 4th. I don't know. Right. But it's going to happen.
All right.
It's been 15 years. I didn't think it was going to happen. It's going to happen. They'll say it's for the fans. And I think there is a part of that that's right. I think they do understand. And yes, I'm projecting into the head to people I don't know. I think they do understand that there is now an entire generation of Oasis fans that have never had the chance to see it.
Yeah, sure.
I think that will definitely matter to Liam. Maybe a little bit less to Noel. Maybe just as much, but he won't admit it. But I just don't see how they walk away now from this amount of money now that the tickets are sold. It's happening. Maybe I'm naive about this. It's happening. It's going to happen. We're going to get U.S. tour date soon.
That's what I was.
Everything's going to be great.
How important is it to you? Are you willing to wait and hold out for U.S. tour dates, or are you no, I'm going to have to go over there to make sure that nothing goes wrong and that I don't miss it before the disaster strikes?
No, I mean, I'd love to go. I'd love to see a show in Europe, but I'm confident if I can only see them in the U.S. They're coming to the U.S., Glenn. It's gonna happen.
You're putting
They're gonna come.
look,
They're
we've
not
all
gonna break up.
Yeah.
I'm putting this good energy out into the world.
I appreciate it, bro. I really do. And we've all seen like the leaked, dates and that, like, I think New Jersey, what was on the calendar, and so that's plausible. And there's a part of me though that I think it's better if they're fighting. Like if I'm gonna go see Oasis, I kind of hope that like they call each other wankers like during the set. Like I feel like that you got to get the whole experience.
Oh, it's the true experience. Yeah, you want Liam sniping
Yes.
Noel during the show. You want him making, sly comments about his songs during the show. And then the tour ends, and then they can all go their separate ways, and we can say, well, we got to see something we didn't think we would see again, and life goes on. But it's gonna happen. It's happening.
For like young folks like my producer that would only at best, I mean like at most, know Champagne Supernova and Wonderwall. Give three songs that you encourage a young person to listen to get to know Oasis.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
He just wants.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'll go three. I'm gonna not do the two you mentioned and Don't Look Back in Anger are the others.
Yeah, of course, right.
Okay. I think the best Oasis song is Slide Away.
Oh, yeah.
That's off of their first album, Definitely Maybe.
Yeah.
Just a masterpiece, in my opinion. Now, can I pick the whole Definitely Maybe album? I probably can't.
No, it's a lot. You're talking to young people. They have the attention span of a gnat.
Okay. Listen to Slide Away. Listen to Rock and Roll Star, which is the first song off that album.
That's my song.
Incredible statement of intent.
Yeah.
And then listen to Acquiesce.
Okay. All right. Going a little bit later. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing B-side.
Yep.
From the second album, What's the Story, Morning Glory.
Yep.
Oasis, the best B-sides band ever, because Noel just wrote all these classic songs and then just threw away his B-sides. And Acquiesce is great because you get Liam singing the verses and Noel singing the chorus. So you get the duality of Oasis in one song. You get the sneer, you get the tenderness, and you get a song I think would be the perfect song to open the tour. So listen to those three, and then listen to all the rest.
All right, Griffin is going to take that assignment, and he's going to report back to you. He's going to send you a tweet.
Report back.
About whether or not he's fully on board now, because I tried to have an Oasis conversation with him last week, and it was painful. Like, he knew nothing of the history, knew nothing of, like, Unplugged. He knew nothing.
Sounds pretty interesting. These guys hate each other? And
yeah. So we'll have him report back to you about how he feels about
Griffin, do you have the subscription service formerly known as HBO Max, now called Max?
I do, yes.
Okay. There's a documentary on there, Oasis Supersonic, 2 hours long. You can do it.
You're asking for a lot. Remember, he's not even 25 years old, Kevin. You're asking for so much.
You can do it. Incredibly entertaining, hilarious, vivid portrait of these guys, how they got so big, who they are. Noel and Liam are both interviewed. They're never on screen being interviewed, so the audio of them, they basically narrate the film. The director who did it, this guy Matt Whitecross, directed the Amy Winehouse documentary, Amy, which won the Oscar for Best Documentary, and then made this a couple of years later. It is tremendous. And like one of the funniest documentaries ever, because these two are the funniest people who've ever existed in the music world.
Just so unserious. Like, they're just such unserious humans, and yet they're brilliant. Like, it's just so amazing.
All right. Since Kevin Brown asked me, I will definitely do it.
You better
I will
do it. You better do it.
Watch
Dude,
the doc.
You're the best. You gave me a ton of time today. At Kevin N. Brown on Twitter is how you follow him. And, of course, you see him on MASN. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for hopping on this morning, man.
Thank you, guys. Live forever.
That's our guy, Kevin Brown. This is such a life-fulfilling thing, man. Like, it's the moment that he had been like waiting for forever, and here we are, and it's his time. Like, this really is Kevin's time now, with Oasis being back together. All right, was there anything we didn't cover because we were complaining about how Ken Zales screwed up our fantasy league all morning? Was there anything that we needed to talk about today that we haven't talked about?
There wasn't
today?
really any big practice.
No, the injury report has been the same. Disa Isaac doesn't look like he's going to play. I guess we'll get a final injury report today, but it seems unlikely that he's going to play. Obviously not somebody at the moment that's a significant part, but somebody that you would like to see move into a role because you just not, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to. So, that was about it as far as injuries are concerned. So, I guess that means we can go ahead and get a tidbit.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, what you got for tidbits?
Let's do the Orioles shortstop one. Gunnar,
What's
obviously.
really weird? I haven't really smelled like the spaghetti and ranch. I don't know if it's. Now I'm starting to worry. Do I have COVID? Is it pungent?
No. Well, so remember we were talking about allergies last week?
Yeah.
The allergies are getting me.
Yeah, and the allergies have been hell
getting
for
me
me.
this
So
week.
maybe that's still part of it too. But I'm actually nervous that I haven't been revolted. But I feel like I was more revolted the last time we did this. It was impacting me. And given the weakness of my stomach the last few days,
right.
I have really downplayed how bad it was because whenever you're sick, the first thing somebody says is, "What are you doing here?" You already yo, chill. I did take a COVID test. I tested for a few things. I didn't have it. I think my kids went to school and came back with one of those
You got the
stomach
fall,
bugs, and I got a 24-hour stomach bug, and it sucked, man. When I was at the radio station on Monday, I could not stand. I felt that weak. But it's okay. Life went on. All's good. I rested for the rest of the day. Got back at it on Tuesday, and I feel okay at this point. I really do. But given the weakness, I have eaten very little since Sunday. Sunday, I ate like a pig, which might also have something to do with this.
Gotcha.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Because we had the fantasy draft on Sunday, and it was ribs and Rofo chicken, lots of Rofo chicken and Western fries, and bacon. I brought some. The radio station a couple years ago, it was thoughtful. Gave everybody a Heavenly Ham gift card for Christmas. And there was an expiration date that I didn't notice. But thankfully I noticed it the day before it expired. So I was like, all right, I'm going to Heavenly Ham. And I just grabbed whatever I could grab with the gift card before it expired. And I still had some bacon in the freezer from Heavenly. I was like, well, I'm taking it to the fantasy draft, and we're throwing that on the brats, bacon wrap brats. Just all sorts of stuff, man. And then my father-in-law invited us over on Sunday night and grilled some steaks. They live on a dairy farm, so they their own cows.
Wow.
Grilled some steaks. His wife made some whipped feta cheese. It was great. It was wonderful. But I ate like a pig on Sunday. I have barely consumed food since Sunday. My stomach's just been... So I would have thought that this would have made me wretch.
Might have made it a bad
you know
day.
What I mean? It could have been a bad day just smelling that. And I'm telling you, I'm more concerned with the fact that I barely noticed it. Not great.
Maybe it just doesn't smell.
I don't know.
So Gunnar hit his 34th home run. That was Monday. Ties him for the most home runs hit by an Orioles shortstop in Orioles history. Who is he tied with? I have the top 12. These are all the guys, all the shortstops that have hit at least 10 home runs in a season as an Oriole. So I think you should be able to get the top 9 pretty easily. Not easily, but you should get the top 9.
These are shortstops.
Yes. Orioles shortstops.
Does it count? The Gunnar, Tejada, Ripken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What did you just say them? So yes.
Okay.
You got the top 3.
This is always difficult. I never know. Besides those guys, Gunnar, Tejada, and Cal.
So who would be number 4?
Yeah.
There is one more
Manny.
Oriole.
Manny.
No, Manny is in the top 5. He is in the top 5.
Okay.
In 2018 when he was traded, he hit 24. He played all shortstop that year, and he hit 24, and then hit 37 in the year after being traded to LA. There's only one other Oriole besides those three to have 30 home runs in a season as a shortstop.
Oriole shortstop. One other Oriole shortstop who had 30 home runs in a season. I don't think it was Mike Bordick.
It was not Mike Bordick. Do you remember the most he had in a season? At least as a
I'm going to
shortstop.
say
8. Double it.
Oh, okay.
He had 16.
I'm sorry, Bordy. You know I love you.
He had 16 in 2000. Puts him top 7.
There's one other Oriole who had... Wait, I thought we were guessing the top 9.
Yeah.
So
Bordick.
Bordick's in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
Bordick
I
was
gotta
top
put
7.
him on the list.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Sorry.
It just felt like dismissive the way that you were saying it. So I didn't.
Well, I mean, because I thought you were guessing the 30 guy first.
Oh,
so,
no.
So I was like,
I said I don't think it's Mike Bordick who's the 30 guy.
Okay.
All right. But he is on the list.
He is on the list.
All right.
You got a point.
We've handled this. It was awkward. It was less awkward than our fantasy draft, though. So we got that going for us. Louis Aparicio.
Louis Aparicio is not in the top 9. He did hit 10, though. He had 10 in 1964. So that puts him tied for 11th. So in the top 12.
This is not. Oh, J.J. Hardy.
J.J. Hardy hit 30 home runs.
Why did I struggle with that?
In 2011, hit 30 home runs.
All right, so there's 3 more that I still have to get.
Yeah. Somebody hit 22.
22 home run Oriole. The problem is that one guy played shortstop for so long.
Right.
That it's really hard to remember who were other Oriole shortstops. Like,
That's a good exercise.
Yeah. Iglesias?
No,
because
not
that was
Jose
that was the pandemic season,
yeah.
right?
So maybe he would have been on this list.
Probably would have. Damn, man. I'm trying to come up with whether I'm looking for like 1 year shortstops or I just got to go old school. How about? I don't think Mark Belanger ever had that many home runs.
No, he did not. It was in 1960.
1960. Was it Ron Hansen?
It was Ron Hansen. Top 6, 22 home runs in 1960. Then Bordick was 16. Then 8 and 9 hit 14 and 13 home runs respectively. The 2003 shortstop.
The 2003 shortstop was.
Was that the first year without Cal?
No, 2002 would have been the first year. But Cal had moved to
he'd moved to
third base before that.
That's right, because Bordy was playing shortstop in 2000.
2000. Yikes, 2000. So that's. I'm trying to think of all these slappies that played for a little bit. Like Cesar's Taurus. Is Cesar's Taurus on the list?
He's not on the list. I did not see
Davy Cruz.
Davy Cruz.
Davy Cruz.
14 home runs in 2003.
I don't remember who would have been doing the games of that. It would have even been Manfra or Angel. I don't know why. Davy Cruz once hit a grand slam for the Orioles. I think against the Phillies, if I remember correctly. And like, it had to have been Angel because it was a very Latin flavored call, like a Dominican slam. Like it was great. I don't know why I remember this so much, but Davy Cruz hit a grand slam as an Oriole, and if it was against the Phillies, I feel like I deserve a high five. There's still
oh man, I can't find because everything I type in Cruz Orioles, it's Nelson Cruz.
Hang on a second. Davy Cruz. If we just search Davy Cruz, Orioles grand slam, let's see if something comes up. Davy Cruz.
Did I spell Davy wrong?
Davy Cruz ties the game with a grand slam in the 8th. Oh no, that was Nelson Cruz. Damn it! Damn it!
Yeah, see that's what I'm saying.
Son of a bitch. All right, whatever. I'm not gonna get this answer. Oh! Going May 23rd, Philadelphia off Randy Wolf. Hey!
What year?
Oh, hang on. Crap, you're right. I can't say definitively that it was in 2003. Why can I not come up with it?
All right, let's just see what happens when I.
This sucks. Hang on. 2003 was his year.
Okay.
And why?
I gotta get to the MLB film room.
2003. It must not have been a Grand Slam. It must have been. I was wrong. Crap.
Darn it.
Must have been a.
I was getting my hopes up too.
Man. I don't know what I thought I remembered. I don't know why.
Was it his tourist that hit the home?
Nah, maybe it was. Maybe I've just made the two of them the same person over the years. He did it a 3-run homer, and he did not hit anything against the Phillies. So I got nothing. I don't know. I don't know what I thought it was. Hang on a second. Was he not Dominican? Was there another Dominican shortstop? I swear to God, I remember the words Dominican Slam. All right, whatever. I'm spending too much time on this. Let's move on. What's the last one?
The last one, he hit 13 home runs in 2022.
2022. Mateo?
Yes, Jorge Mateo.
Mateo. How about that? All right.
And then he hit 11 in 1962. Jerry Adair?
Oh, Adair, yeah. Jerry Adair. Yeah, sure.
Jerry Adair.
Sure.
And then in 2017, this guy tied with Louis Aparicio.
You're asking me to remember the 2017 Orioles, dog. It wasn't JJ. JJ wasn't the shortstop in 2017.
Was he hurt or something this year? Because they traded for a guy.
Oh, I'm starting to.
This guy hit.
Your allergy. I'm starting to note it now that you brought it up. It's all I'm hearing. No. You don't have to apologize. It's just all that I'm hearing. I get allergies, bro. I've been through it.
I think it was because 2017 they traded for him, I believe, and he was the only player that was good the rest of the year.
Just remind me. Oh, Beckham.
Tim Beckham.
Right. Yeah.
10 home runs in 2017.
Very good. Let's get tubular.
Yeah, I guess we will.
Wow.
I know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's the allergies.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What about all the other issues?
There is a place where tradition, family, and community gather, where the aspirations of talented young competitors takes root, and where the crossroads of history, culture, and renewal come together. This spring, experience America's newest and most innovative ballpark, Meritus Park in Hagerstown, Maryland, home of the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Plan your getaway today. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland.
All right, here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. MASN 2 tonight, White Sox Orioles 6:35. Jonathan Cannon, whatever that is, and the ace, Albert Suarez, the pitching matchup there. Although I guess with Zach Eflin back, he's not the ace. He's the co-pilot. He's
still Big Al.
He is still Big Al. I'll give him that. U.S. Open quarterfinals continue today. Going to be tough to be as exciting as yesterday was. And I know that it ended up being a bummer how things ended at the end of the night. Francis Tiafoe takes 2 sets to 1 lead, and then Grigor Dimitrov clearly physically could not continue. Tries to go out there and game his way through the 4th set, but didn't have it and has to retire. Still, it was awesome for 3 sets, and Francis Tiafoe is going to be playing Taylor Fritz in an All-American semifinal at the U.S. Open is just wow. We will have the first American finalist at a American men's finalist at a Grand Slam since 2009. I'm downright giddy. Now look, whoever wins the Jannik Sinner-Daniil Medvedev match tonight is the definitive favorite to win the U.S. Open. Still, they're not unbeatable. This isn't like during the era where if you looked on the other side of the net and it was Roger Federer, okay, neat, you made it to the final, you're losing. Whoever wins this match could, not saying they will, could win the final. Francis Tiafoe, 2nd U.S. Open, the first American man to make 2 Grand Slam semifinals since Andy Roddick. Awesome. Congratulations to Francis Tiafoe, and bless you, Taylor Fritz, for taking out Alex Zverev yesterday. And, we got an All-American men's semifinal, which is just dope as hell. The quarterfinals today, as everything's on ESPN, the early quarterfinals, unfortunately, are the kind of less interesting ones. On the women's side, it's Beatriz Haddad-Maia and Carolina Muhova. Yeah, you don't have to pretend. And then the first men's quarterfinal is Jack Draper and Alex de Minaur. It's what it is. But then tonight is pretty good. The women's match, Iga Swiatek and American Jessie Pegula. And then, as I mentioned, Jannik Sinner and Daniil Medvedev, who would be the 2 favorites of the 6 that are left. They're the 2 top guys are playing in a quarterfinal tonight. So That's what you got. They're the only two that are left that have won a Grand Slam before. So that's what's going on at the U.S. Open. But, yeah, Francis Tiafoe. I would have liked to have spent more time talking about that today. But Friday, that'll just be awesome. Awesome as he plays Taylor Fritz in the semifinal. Baseball today, MASN Nationals, Marlins, 6:40. MLB Network, Phillies, Blue Jays at 3:07. That's also on ESPN+. Diamondbacks, Giants will be joined in progress later tonight. Fox Sports 1, Guardians, Royals at 7:40. CBS Sports Network, LA Sparks, Indiana Fever at 7. I'm sure no one will be weird at all about Caitlin Clark playing basketball. I'm just sure that no one will have anything weird to say.
No one ever is.
Everybody's very normal about it, not giant weirdos. Fox Sports 2, the U20 Women's World Cup, Morocco and the U.S. women at 9 o'clock. USA Network for the Paralympics all day, and TNT for AEW Dynamite tonight at 8. Non-sports?
Not really a whole lot. MasterChef on Fox, of course. And
Miss
then
Clark happy.
And then that's really it. Slow Horses Season 4 on Apple TV+.
Oh, hell yeah. I was waiting for Slow.
You were? It's just a show.
What is English Teacher? Because people tell me that
came
I
out
might,
Monday.
But people tell me that I might enjoy that.
I mean, it looks solid. It was on FX. It was just like, I mean, it looked like kind of like basically like Abbott Elementary, but like at a high school, because it's like
But it
they
also,
just look at a teaching staff at this.
It also seemed like maybe it was
in
less campy.
Yeah, like less kind of sitcom-y, I guess.
Or yeah, like less like saccharine sweet.
Yeah,
and I like Abbott.
It was the same, because it was the same. I like Abbott too, and it's the same producers that did What We Do in the Shadows and Atlanta. So it's a little bit older, I guess.
I like those shows.
In that sense, but yeah, that was so that's on FX. I think the first 2 episodes should be out on Hulu. But yeah, really nothing else. An episode of Bad Monkey on Apple TV too.
Yeah, sorry.
Simone Biles will be on Fallon.
I like Simone Biles. I mean, it's not gonna get me to watch Jimmy Fallon, but I do like Simone Biles. All right, thanks today to Joe Serpico. Thanks to Kevin Brown, of course. Thanks to Soren Petro, and thanks to Devin McCourty. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh my God, it's so good
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. Tomorrow, I guess we'll do picks.
We will do picks.
Oh boy, this is game day. This is kickoff day.
Yeah, I know.
Femi Ayanbadejo will be joining us tomorrow morning. We'll get you ready for Ravens Chiefs. Femi's going to be joining us every week this season. He's gotten into the AI world of betting, where like they have data, and it's betyardai.com is the website. And I think they're offering a bunch of specials, but Femi and their company trying to help get you more educated for betting. So maybe that could help us for picks as we talk to Femi.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we're talking to Femi earlier in the week most weeks. I think most weeks we're talking to him on Tuesdays.
Like
but like maybe we get a little bit of a heads up on everybody else about how to make our picks for the week. So yeah, Femi will join us tomorrow, and stuff and things.
Correct.
Thanks everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses, the Maryland 5-Star, Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Visit Hagerstown in Washington County. Cruise Maryland. Ocean City. Easy Pass. Royal Farms. Ed Block Courage Awards. HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. The Costa Sin. MSAA. The Baltimore Orioles. Your local Toyota dealer. BuyAToyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Oh, I'm hanging out with the Ironbirds tonight. I know you did that before. I'm going to go up there and hang out with
some talent to see today.
Yeah, I want to check out. I'm excited that Vance Honeycutt and Griff O'Farrell and
strong name.
Right. That's the part that you care about. Yeah, looking forward to being up there.
Can't miss Prospect
tonight to check out the Ironbirds. All right. Have a great Wednesday night. Go Birds. Duke sucks.